So I just it's I don't know that content creators talk about it a bunch, but like hitting that go live button, it takes something for me. I
Does
don't
it?
know how other content creators, it feels like they're always on 5 days a week, 7 days a week, something like that. For me, I'm like sitting there and I'm like talking to you even now. Usually I don't. I'm very familiar with you. You know,
Mm.
I consider us like friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other guests, I wouldn't let see that like
Oh, I
moment of
see. Like, yeah. No, I get you.
where I'm like
It's
sitting
not
there and I'm
like
I don't know if I've got the juice to go
yeah,
live and
it'll be fine. Rocco, your boy, redeeming 1,000 RDP, letting everybody know that Chat Gang he's nothing to fuck with.
how did that feel? Did that feel good?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You get
My voice is pretty low today, so we're cooking with that.
you get to say it. You get to say it though, like you're a real streamer now. That's
Yeah,
it.
I got the lights up, so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. You are truly. It can never be denied that you are truly the chat king. And Rocco, your boy, is here, which means Chat Gang is here. I am, of course, the magical Mr. Mephisto, the most dangerous man in Blood Bowl.
Sure.
Joined tonight by the one of a kind, the inimitable Chat King. Some of you might know him as Frank.
Thanks.
Or the Doc
You're too
King.
kind.
Yeah.
You're far too kind.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna be talking about some Blood Bowl 2020 tonight. I finally got my box. You can see it here, just on the side of the camera there. Finally got my season. I guess they're calling it the second season edition,
The
but
second season, yeah, sure.
yeah, but
It's like Blood Bowl 9, 10,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. I when I was ordering it, I was like a little confused. I'm like, it says second season edition. For that feels like a second edition. What? You know?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I think they're like, because they released it 2016 as Blood Bowl,
Is
so
it?
it's like their Doom Eternal, if you will, is now Blood Bowl the second season.
Well, I mean, is that what it is? Is like Blood Bowl 2016 was kind of the reboot relaunch for
Yeah,
Blood
because
Bowl?
they had the game was like abandoned and it was left to like fans to kind of like make the rules and keep the game alive while it was the dark times, as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Hey, my dude, says Fluke Skywalker. Heavy D6,
hey,
how's it
Fluke,
going, my
what's up?
friend? So, chat gang showing up in force tonight to talk about some Blood Bowl.
Blood
Um,
Bowl's cool, dude.
yeah, Blood Bowl is pretty great. No, so I've got to spend basically the tail end of summer into the fall and now transitioning into winter, playing Blood Bowl in a digital capacity. But that was we have done, if you're new to Rantcast, we have done one other Blood Bowl episode that was with both Frank and Brendan. That was a couple months ago. Um, we kind of talked about like, I mean, we meandered through a lot of stuff, but we really sort of talked about like the edifice, the sort of the zoomed out view of Blood Bowl. Why do we like Blood Bowl? Like our personal spin on that. We're probably gonna rehash some of that stuff tonight, but we're also gonna get a little bit more granular with it for this.
Sure.
Ooh, Rocco, your boy, with the Twitch Prime, 9 years of subscriptions.
Has it been that long?
In COVID time, it has been.
Oh my god.
Let's go, says Dead Montana. Indeed.
Yeah.
Chat gang popping off with the emojis. I am, of course, rocking my OBR sweatshirt, which is a custom designed.
Pretty sick.
Sean Benson from us from the Upside Down. He tossed the design together and I threw it up on. So
I've heard rumors of some pictures coming out of leggings, but I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh, I'll
their
confirm them. I rocked the hell out of those yoga pants. It reminded me, like, I actually like had a little bit of a boost to my self-esteem. I'm like, man, my ass looks great. And I'm like, I just need to.
Well, you're wearing leggings, dude.
I just need to get the rest of me in order. So yeah, we're gonna talk some Blood Bowl tonight, and kind of let it take us where it may, and we might have a little bit of a meandering conversation about video games in general because they've been on my mind a lot lately. I think COVID has sort of forced me to kind of rediscover old loves. So just kind of I was talking about, like, one of the big rolling jokes here on Rantcast is that I am not a weeb, because you got to be active to be like full on weeb status. You got to actively consume anime, and I haven't watched something in a while, but I got the itch, Frank.
I'm telling you, man.
I had the itch.
It comes and goes sometimes.
Yeah.
You get those days and you're like, ooh, I could like sit down for like a good 4 hours and like bang out some anime right now. And
I don't know, like it's weird because it was just like we were talking about Redline, and that's what did it. Is I was recommending Redline to somebody, several somebodies, in fact. I know Travis Kicker here in Chat Gang.
Redline's fucking sick too.
Steve Herner, Holy Hammer Hearn, he shared like, the classic, took a picture with his phone of him watching Akira, and I'm like, if you like Akira, you need to go watch Redline immediately. And he did. Like, he tracked it down like the next week, and he sent me a message. He's like, "This is awesome, Mephisto," and I'm like, "Damn right."
Yeah, that's sick.
So,
that's right, Rocco. You watch all of Yu Yu Hakusho again, except for that last part. That was kind of weird.
I don't remember. It's all blurred into one great experience, and not as
solid dub for those of you who are of persuasion.
like subs versus dubs. Rewatching DBZ. See, I never got bit by the DBZ bug.
I think you were a little too early on the train.
That's what it was. I was a little too early on the anime train, and so
I was like right there when it left the station. Because then you had that weird dub that existed for a while, and then they switched it over when Cartoon Network got like the rights to do the rest of it, or they got the company to do, what I mean.
Right. You got to license it or whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It's just the Dark Tournament. What do you mean? Says Rocco your boy. So Rocco your boy.
No,
Go ahead.
Rocco your boy confirmed weeb.
That's what I was about to say. That, like, out of left field, Rocco your boy, not you too. I didn't think you were a weeb. I didn't think you were one of them.
I think there's a weeb in all of us. If you really look hard enough.
Well, I mean, you can't watch like something like Princess Mononoke or Howl's Moving Castle, any of the Ghibli that were kind of passed off as like Disney or Disney movie or Disney Channel movies or something. There's one of those for everybody. I remember getting down with Kiki's Delivery Service one weekend on like a Disney free preview weekend or something.
Ghibli is the gateway drug, the great gateway drug to weebdom. Is that what we're calling it?
I think just anime fandom.
Yeah.
All right, so Blood Bowl. Like I was kind of
yes.
Look at that tangent right out the gates for you. We got the OBR mention. So if you're playing the drinking game, boom, and we got a nice little tangent out the way early for everyone there. So it's a real Rantcast. None of these weird on-topic ones. So Blood Bowl, like I was kind of mentioning, I really kind of caught the bug in summer, and it was always one of those games that I had meant to get into, and I think it was in a community article, or maybe it might have been like Azure Weekly or something like that, where they mentioned like new fan, like a 20-year-old fan of game finally takes plunge and buys game or something like that. And
yeah, I remember that one.
I'm like, I feel personally attacked. And that's kind of how Blood Bowl was for me. Is it was one of those games I was always kind of interested in. People didn't really like play it actively in my area, but like you'd always see like the little box set, like the older one, like sitting there on the shelf, or you'd see a couple like star players or something. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, like a team or something. And you go, oh, that.
Yeah, that looks.
I never thought in 1,000 years I'd ever play Blood Bowl, and then my camera shifted. Sorry. Never thought I have no interest in American football at all, and here I am. I own 4 to 6 teams now.
Okay. I was about to say, if you only have 4 teams, I've caught you, Frank.
I've got the 2 starter sets. I've got 2 Khemri teams. Well, one of them didn't come yet, but I'll have.
I'd count it. If you paid the money for it, you got it.
And now I have this Chaos Pack team that I'm real excited to play.
That's awesome. I'm actually looking forward to these Black Orcs. Like personally, like
Dude, they're so cool.
I'm keeping that team. The humans I could see kind of giving a way to indoctrinate somebody and be like, here, you play Blood Bowl now. But I'm
Yeah,
keeping the Orcs.
I have the orcs and the humans from the old starter. I painted up just to do demo games because I like the teams well enough, but I usually just play those in the video game. I don't want to play them on tabletop. So I'm gonna probably do the same thing. But I'm playing. I love that Black Orc team. Rocco will tell you. We had a fun TTS game for Blood Bowl, which works great, by the way. If anybody wants, those Black Orcs are great. They're like it's like the Lizard Man team, except you're not running away half the time.
Oh, shots fired. So that's funny because Rocco he plays cowardly skanks.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Skanks really. But see, that's what we call when we don't like them. Nice hoodie. Thank you so much, Kicker. No, the Black Orc team looks pretty sweet. And that's what you're doing with that demo sort of thing. That's what I intend to do with this. I'm going to play as soon as I get this put together. I'm going to play a game with Colin. I think the game, and that is one of the strengths of Blood Bowl. I've got my necromantic dice here that I ordered. This is it. I mean, that's all you need right there. The D16's a little weird
It's a weird dice, yeah.
As a classic old school gamer, but it looks like a flying saucer. It's 16-sided and weird. That's a little weird, but you got your POWs in here. Up to 3 because the most you're ever rolling is those 3 die 6.
Yep.
And you got your straight up just 2d6, just classic 1 through 6, 1 through 6.
With the sick jack-o'-lantern face.
Oh, it's so good. I'm surprised that they haven't been sued by Disney for it looking a little bit like Jack Skellington. And we know Disney likes to wrongfully sue everybody. I'm probably about to get sued just for mentioning the name Jack Skellington right now. So if Rantcast 77 is missing from the annals of history, y'all know why. And then you get a D8, and that's basically just used for scatter with the kickoff.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, that's for scatter. Well, any scatter. So like if you fumble the ball.
Fumble the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. Et cetera.
Because you're sort of looking at a grid. You have 9 points on the grid. Obviously, the center really doesn't count, and then 1 through 8, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a template too that goes along with that you can before the game.
So I mean, that's it. That's the dice. I got my cool handy dandy little dice set here. I'll probably order one more generic one just for when
you've got 2 in that box actually.
Oh, never mind. Set.
Clear red and clear green.
I'm set. Never mind.
Rock and roll.
So those are. I haven't even opened the box yet. You can still see the cellophanes on it because it came today, and then I was thinking about doing a joke unboxing video where like I go to unbox it and then like Molly tackles me or something, and then that was going to be the video. So I'm like, I'm not, because unboxing videos are the laziest, most garbage thing that is loved by the algorithm and everybody. It's like, why? I secretly hate unboxing so much, and so I wanted to make a video and
you've just made me realize that watching a man unpack an MRE from 1976
that's
is
different.
In fact, and I don't know it's an unboxing. It 100% is an unboxing. He puts it out on the tray. It's nice.
Nice. Nice. But that's just, it's wholesome. It's so wholesome. It's so wholesome. Like, it's different because he's unboxing something uncommon and weird. It's
like arcane in a way. It's like, here's this tube of meat from 60 years ago. Oh, it smells awful. It's like, yeah.
There are exceptions. Like, there's also like the super excited Pokemon card guy.
No, I don't. I'm not down with that.
No there's ones that try to be like him, but there's one specific guy, and he just gets like so fucking excited about like it's a fucking Charmander, like, and he just like loses his shit.
Cracking packs on camera is just bad for everyone. Nobody's winning. You're letting an addict is just going nuts. You can justify buying packs.
But he gets all the clicks. G-Dad, I miss
about 10 pounds of bulk rares. G-Dad, I miss sumo too.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll have one in
January.
about a month.
Yeah, January Basho, right? Yeah, cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Chat Gang, this is there's the show within the show. Well, there's the show as it continues offline in Discord. Uh, and we've been watching sumo. Frank's been like guiding us through sumo. What, 3 tournaments now? 2 tournaments now?
It's been 2 so far.
Two so far. There's 5 tournaments in a year for sumo, and it has been something that is super central to like just my heart and my ethos. Everything I believe is just like passion. I may not be into what you, dear listener, dear chat gang, are into, but if I see that passion for the thing, I can like catch that residual heat and just be like, yeah, because I understand passion. Like I'm super passionate about this stuff, and quite frankly, I just think love of the thing is the most worthy part of what makes us a nerd. We just have this inordinate love of something, and we can't contain how much we love the thing, and we have to tell people that we love it, and then they're like, please stop talking. Like that's what makes you a nerd. It's like you can't stop talking.
It's like that. That's a great meme where the guy's he's in like a sports stadium and he's talking to his girl. He's got his glasses on. And he's just like his picture's just like this, and he's talking to his girlfriend. And everybody always puts like Legacy of Kain lore or like just like total nonsense. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome, and I don't know. When I was younger, I was a little gatekeepy with what types of interests were worthy or not, and as I got older, I found that my way of kind of combating my own gatekeeping habits was to like focus on the love, and that. If you ever take anything away from any Rantcast I ever do, 77 episodes over a year of this, Frank, you were with me from the beginning. That is what I want everyone to take away at all times, is just focus on the love. There's far too much hate in this world, as evidenced by all of 2020, just gestures to the whole thing. That's gaming is what brings us together, and don't let, because I like the best team in Age of Sigmar, Ossiarch Bone Reapers, don't let that drive a wedge between us because you like a lesser team or army. And Kicker is not okay with the Pokemon card grift.
Yeah, it's a grift.
Oh man,
Unboxing a package of hot dogs? Well, like that guy in Canada that's feeding the raccoons.
Oh my! Have you
seen it?
Yes, the raccoon video guy.
He's just like, here you go.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and he's got like
ah.
Buddy, and he's got him named and stuff. And
yeah.
No, I had a really bad like mental health day. That was the only thing that made me happy in that one day. Were those videos? I watched
feeding raccoons
just
15 pounds off.
Just guy feeding raccoon just 15 pounds of hot dog. It was the only thing that made me feel better. I came home from work, as one does, and I was just like, I don't want to talk to my family. I don't want to be around my kids because I know I'm temperamental right now, and they're gonna see like the worst dad, and just like the mean kind of snapping, like, well, go clean your room then, and I don't want to be that type of dad. So I'm like, it's better if I just, and I don't know how I found the raccoon videos. I saw them. They came up in my feed on YouTube, and it was like the robots knew. They're like, this man needs to see some fucking raccoons get fed hot dogs and cookies.
Yeah, the Oreos. He cracks out the Oreos.
Busts out the Oreos and the grapes. They fucking love the grapes, and they make this like noshing noise, just like nosh 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 when they're. I'm like,
raccoon eating grapes. And then you go, there is good in the world.
There's just a little bit for his little 11-minute videos. It's just 11 minutes of someone being super selfless. And there's one video where he got trolled in the comments where they're like, you just fed these raccoons all this food and it's not that can't be healthy for them. And he just tees off on trolls for like 3 solid minutes in the kindest way I've ever heard someone be upset at trolls. Where he's just he actually took the time to explain what the food is and how long he's been doing it, and he's like, and you can't just let trolls ruin your life because that's what trolls want to do and that's all they're good at. And he's just the most, oh man, you got to watch you some raccoon video.
Yeah. What a prince.
But he's passionate about raccoons. You're passionate about sumo, anime, and Blood Bowl.
I'm passionate about many. But yes, those are some of the many.
Oh yeah,
You love me.
oh yeah. He showed the trolls that the Oreos aren't actually chocolate. He's like, there's not even any chocolate in them. He just what? Oh man.
Checkmate,
I
atheists.
could learn something from a dude like that because like I get people don't often leave comments on my videos. There's an errant one here or there. Usually it's like in a DM because it's people who aren't confident enough to really stand in the face of chat gang. Like that's you're gonna get slapped down if you leave like a bunch of nasty comments in the actual comment section on the video. But like, so they'll DM me, and most of it is just like, oh, thanks for your input, thanks for your, oh yeah, I'll keep that in mind for next time type thing. But every now and then you get one where you're like, you're just trying to hurt me, aren't you? Like, and it's not that they hurt me in that moment. It's that I'm upset that somebody would try to hurt me. I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah, like you're more upset that they would want to do it.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what did I ever do to you? Like, I guess I had an opinion about an army, and that made you upset. Like, you're like,
Oh no.
how dare you like
How
dare you like an army? Or so, I
how
don't
dare
know.
you want ethical treatment of human beings? That's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah,
Bullshit. Get out of here,
Mhm.
you child.
yeah. Anyway, Blood Bowl. See, this is
So
a
Blood Bowl, yeah, yeah.
this is a good episode. We're really staying on topic.
Classic Rantcast.
There it is. So Blood Bowl is one of those games like the Ezra Weekly or whatever it is. Fan of game finally gets into it after 20 years. That's how I felt, where it was like I was always cursory. And you said you don't have that football interest. You don't care about American football. I do. And so like it's interesting because I feel like on one hand you don't have to like football at all to like this. It's a British company making a game about what American football may actually be like, right? Like it's just like I have to I think about this and I just wonder what it was like to be in that pitch room.
To keep you up at night.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
God, why did they do this?
Why'd they do this? The soccer would have been logical. Cricket, like I don't know, whatever other games they play, like some sort of game in England where you go to try and find a refrigerator that's bigger than a shoebox because they don't have big refrigerators in England, as far as I understand. A game based on a mechanic like that.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll just trust you that that's actually true. In Canada, milk comes in bags.
See, and in England they don't have big fridges.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, so, I mean they could have picked anything, and they hone in on American football. This goes back in the '80s. The dominance of American football wasn't fully there yet in the '80s. I mean, you're kind of that's when it's starting to hype up. So I guess I could see them thinking like, hey, we're getting in on this thing. But like football nerds don't really like gravitate towards Blood Bowl. This isn't like fantasy football, as far as I can tell, where they're like, oh,
yes, this is.
I mean, it is a fantasy game that is football, but I mean fantasy football, like where you're just drafting and you're watching the numbers happen week to week.
Bean counting.
Yeah, it's not that. It's different. So I don't know. There's enough for me to appreciate from actually like enjoying like American football, the sport. I got my like little Packer sign up over here somewhere. And then you don't lose anything in translation. There's nothing. You don't need that, and you just love it like just as much.
It's like RPG chess with mummies and skeletons. Like, what more do you want from like? That's all I really care about. It's just like chess, but it's got RNG, so it's not like crippling to face somebody better than you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Nuffle
pieces with designed like tasks. Instead of specific movements, there's like skills, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like I like to call it a chess analog, but it's not. It's just like grid-based movement, but I still like it.
I mean, it's very much a board game as opposed to a war game. I mean, you're moving on a grid, the pitch, right? You're moving on a grid. You have pieces with sort of set skill sets or roles, like you.
Yeah, like you know what a blitzer is, or a catcher, or a pat. Like
right.
A big guy's gonna be stupid sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So you have these sort of like these assigned roles, and then you have that like customization RPG element where you're building your team
The best part.
and the progression of it. That's the part that I
Yeah.
love. Like I like the stakes that Blood Bowl has. That's one of my favorite things about it is like there are stakes. It can also be the most frustrating is like when you like your favorite player dies or something. But
I
like
love Blood Bowl, which means I hate Blood Bowl, which means I love Blood Bowl.
oh yeah, you gotta be equal parts sadist and masochist to truly enjoy this game. I mean, I made the analogy XCOM for the video game
Yeah,
port of
no,
this.
it is.
It feels very XCOM-y, where like the XCOM like spitting in the face of the odds, like, and then you pull off the big play. That
It's a two
feeling,
percent chance. No way he's gonna do it. Oh no.
right, right. And when your back's against the wall and kind of feeling like you have to start throwing tons and tons of dice to go for like that one big move that's going to get you back in it, and you're like, okay, now I have to. And every time you pick up and scoop and roll the dice, and you're like, okay, he made the one GFI, whew, he made the other GFI. Okay, now I need this guy. He's got to go for it too, so it's a short pass. Now he needs to throw it. Now he needs to catch it. Ah, like that hype that
It's like
generates.
yeah, it's like you're inching forward to stick like a screwdriver in an electrical outlet to unscrew like the cap. So, but anything could go wrong. Oh, one wrong step and it's going right in the outlet,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're doing it on purpose.
And you're doing it on purpose. So I mean, it creates these like it reminds me of like in Street Fighter you have like your V trigger, right? V trigger is just like the hype button. You push it to do
Yeah,
hype shit.
I would like hype now.
Yeah, Blood Bowl is always in hype mode. Every die roll is hype mode. Every single one. You are always spending V trigger if you're rolling dice.
Yeah, I feel like it's very hard to check out of the game for that reason. Like even when it's not your turn, you're like, oh, but what if you roll the one? Oh, is he gonna make the? Is he gonna make the three
Oh,
up? Oh, and you're like looking for your next moves. You're very engaged. I find that I'm way more engaged with Blood Bowl in person than I am with like Age of Sigmar because I feel like it's easy to check out. Because like, okay, I'm gonna move my guys.
oh yeah, I'm like, oh, it's movement phase. I trust you to measure. I'm gonna go get us beers.
Because your turn can end at any moment. Like, there's no like, oh, this is gonna take 5 minutes. It's like, oh, he rolled two ones in a row. That's my turn now. You can't like check out of the game.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, you got to be live updating your strats and stuff.
Yeah,
Based
you're
on
gonna be like,
position.
oh, he didn't mark that guy, so I can bring him around.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very the game develops in a very fun and interesting sort of way. Like I know what you're trying to do very hard and very thoroughly. Like if dwarves line up, you know what dwarves are trying to do. They're going to try to cage and punch and grind you out and just slowly march up the field. Now, obviously, like there's always exceptions to rules. Like we had some pretty cool like people that actually kind of try to subvert that norm on purpose with their team construction by like Bretonians going for pass it, like going a passing
Yeah,
strategy and stuff like that. Um, but it's still like you watch these play these the fact that I know there's no tricks to it. You're trying to get to the end zone there. I'm trying to get the football and get to that end zone there. There's no there's
it's kind of a dance. Yeah, you can't outwit somebody that much. It's like, oh, look, he's sending his gutter runner up the field. I wonder what is he gonna go for the pass or is he just trying to distract me? It's like, well, it's one or the other.
yeah. Yeah, and because it's such a focused game and a very focused experience in general, I think it's very engaging. Brendan said on the last Blood Bowl episode we did, he said very sort of pointedly that it's his favorite Games Workshop game. Like, and I can see that. For me, it's like Age of Sigmar. It's the community and the social of it really are what engage me, and the setting in general. Like, I love the setting, and I love the stories that develop and stuff like that. But Blood Bowl as a game is just a super engaging thing. The fact that you're only painting like 16 models really makes it
So
approachable. I think you put that hero standard of quality into each fig because you've got 16 of them. You
you
know.
could if you want, and also like I feel like these figs are they're playing pieces even more so than a Sigmar piece. Like these are board game pieces first and foremost. Period. There's no like, oh well, I don't, I gotta paint like 80 of these guys, or you're not like, you're not setting up movement trays for Blood Bowl pieces. And I think like there being pieces of a game me personally, I feel less stringent on my painting standards because of the nature of what they're going to be. Like, I don't want to put in like 50 hours onto a mini because it's like, well, I'm going to be rubbing with my hands, you know? I can't like go all out, seal it 10 times, and then hope for the best. Especially a lot of like third-party Blood Bowl teams, or it used to be, but now they're becoming resin. They used to be metal. And I don't care how good you varnish your metal minis, they're going to chip eventually, especially when you're flipping them up and down and transporting them.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel way more liberated painting Blood Bowl minis because I'm like, oh, well, it's just like, it's a piece. Nobody's taking that close of a look at it. Whereas, like, with AoS, it's like, no, I want my army to look great, like, uniform. Like, they all got to look, not all look the same. They got to look like they're from the same army. Blood Bowl, I'm a little more sloppy. Like, I'll do some armor
And
chipping, or I'll throw some like some dust on this guy, or
that's interesting.
it's a lot more loose for me.
That's interesting because I do consider you in like a very firmly in a hobbyist sort of hero type category of where I look to you and ask you for you're one of the people I go to when I need an opinion on doing something hobby wise. So I think of you as like a very thorough hobby painter, and to hear that you kind of like you go a little bit like easier on Blood Bowl is actually kind of interesting. I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, it's not like I put in less effort. I think I'm just less concerned about following a formula or being sort of rigid with how I'm doing my painting. Like I have more of an opportunity to experiment with like different skin tones or like different effects. Whereas like OBR, it's gotta look like my OBR. I can't like deviate too much; it'll bother me. Or like even my corn stuff, like I cannot use warm colors on those models. Period. I'm not allowed because the cold corn. That's the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more liberated by Blood Bowl's like small team size, and like I don't know, they feel less important as models and more important as game pieces. This is a representation of like a set of skills. Like where a War Scroll is like this model has this stuff. This is like no, this is a player. This is Anchovy, my witch elf. And she's gonna have green hair, and then if that ever like fucks up, I'll just paint the hair again. I'm not too worried about it.
Interesting. That's a cool take. I really like that take. So Blood Bowl 2020 came out. It is 2020. One of the great bright spots of this year. See, there's good stuff here, everybody. There's been some good stuff in 2020. I focus on the negative too much. I got to remind myself when there's good stuff. So Blood Bowl 2020 came out. 2016 was kind of a soft reset, and that's why this is called Season 2. All right, we've established that. What I think is sort of the unspoken about part of this is that the Dark Ages between 2016, and then through now, where they've been supporting it pretty steadily since 2016. But prior to that, it was a very grassroots game. I couldn't tell you when the interest dropped off between when it came out in 1986 or something like that to when it got its resurgence in 2016. I couldn't tell you where the drop off in interest was, but I can tell you that as someone who was always like sort of on the periphery of this game and always kind of interested in it but just never pulling the trigger, it seemed very community driven in the same way that Age of Sigmar is, to my mind, far more community driven than like say 40K, for instance. 40K is very very sort of top down. Games Workshop says and comes down this way. Age of Sigmar, I think it's like Games Workshop says a thing kind of in the middle, and then the like AoS community is like, hey, like we were already here doing our thing, and our packs are all like the Wild West of tournaments and stuff like that. There's no,
it's less stringent to like rules from above, which is kind of funny because that's kind of how 40K is in like lore.
Right.
They're like, yes, we must follow the rules. There are only rules, and we follow them. That's how it goes.
Well, that's how totalitarianism works. Yeah. But with Blood Bowl, like that grass, and I'm interested because I think we're in you had like the AoS 2.0 babies, that like really big period of growth for Age of Sigmar. It's relative. This is not the scope of 40K by any stretch, and it's not even the scope of Age of Sigmar. But I do think we're going to experience a period of growth here for Blood Bowl.
I think so too.
With 2020, go ahead.
Especially whenever Blood Bowl 3 drops, it's gonna explode again because Blood Bowl 2's rules, as those are the old rules, not even the 2016 rules. So like those the Blood Bowl 2 the games rules are like over 5 years old.
Yeah, the video game rules. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so old. It's crazy how much has changed. So I think a lot of new people are gonna see like, oh yeah, new Blood Bowl. I'll get into that again. I played that one. I played Blood Bowl 1 like years and years and years ago. And then especially since we don't know how things are gonna shake out and when events are gonna start going again, it'll be nice and comforting to play a new version of something you used to play in person and prepare yourself for when that day finally comes.
That you get to get
and
back.
It will come.
Yeah. So Blood Bowl 3 is going to drive some interest. And when I talk about the grassroots, the sort of like bottom up, like I see it both in Age of Sigmar and I see it even more so in Blood Bowl, where I did kind of most of my competent gaming came from 40K initially. I played Warhammer Fantasy Battle only with friends, right? Only with like we're talking not even friends at a store, literally the friends I knew on a one-on-one basis is how I played Warhammer Fantasy Battle all the way up until I went off to college. I played my friend Sam, I played Edric, his brother Ben, or I played Sam's brother Ben, Ben's friend Edric. Like we played just kind of our circle. 40K, it was what my friends played at college, but like I would go to the game store, do a rando game, play against whoever was there with their army, like. That was how I played that way. With Blood Bowl, gosh, I kind of buried the lead on that. I forgot my point. Uh-oh.
It'll come.
I'm usually really good at walking it back. Where I was trying to go with it is because of 40K, WYSIWYG and the model having to be what it was and having to have frag grenades on it if they had frag grenades or frack grenades or whatever. Sorry.
Crack and
frag grenades. They had to have them on the model.
So start on the model. You can't throw something.
Yeah. Like you had to have them. I was super paranoid about that. And when I came into Age of Sigmar, the hobby is a little bit like they're not as. It took me a long time to not have my 40K paranoia about like
the WYSIWYG stuff.
The WYSIWYG stuff. I play with a couple like heavily converted models or like I do have a couple third-party models in I've got creature caster dragons. I got some stuff like that. And in 40K, I wouldn't even thought to bring those to the table.
Right. You'd be lambasted.
Oh yeah. Like I wouldn't even. I've got I've got a third-party Rhino tank that I think looks cooler than like the base little cardboard box. Like, cool. Wouldn't have even considered it. With Blood Bowl, there was a distinct period in time where Games Workshop wasn't supporting it at all. And so the only models for star players and Khemri teams and all these things that are canonically Blood Bowl, things that exist in Blood Bowl by the rules, they weren't getting model support from anyone but third party. And I truly wonder, as the interest grows, and I think I kind of know where it's going, but as the interest grows, will they maintain that like laissez-faire attitude when it comes to models and your team representation and stuff like that? Or as Games Workshop themselves sort of assumes direct control more overtly, they're going to do weekly Blood Bowl podcasts. They're going to do, they've been doing a great coverage in the Warhammer community articles with Bob and Jim coming in and having their little weekly, and they've got a sideline reporter now. Like, great stuff coming from the community things. I wonder if we'll see a migration away from like the openness to third-party models, or if it's like damage done. This is how we Blood Bowl.
So all of the players that I've ever played in Blood Bowl, I started right before 2016 came out. I've only played against 2 people that have had the GW teams. Everyone else has had third-party models. Like, not even like old GW stuff. It was like the new dwarf kit and like the orc team that came in the starter box. Everybody else had like third-party models from there's a lot of like European producers that make the teams. I don't think anybody cares because, again, you're using a piece to represent a player. You're not like saying like, okay, well, these are my witch elves from this third party. They're slightly different size. Obviously, the base size isn't as important as Blood Bowl. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all those little things that could cause an argument, there's no argument for it. It's like, well, that's my blitzer, so that's my blitzer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like question about it. There's no like, well, he's supposed to have. No, it's blitzer.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, done.
Yeah, that's my blitzer. These are the rules my blitzer has. Like here, it has nothing.
You know what it does. There's 3 things you need to know. Does it have any points leveled up? Does it have any additional skills? And what number is he? That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you have to paint the numbers on them? Like, do you have to,
No.
or is it just like a? Oh.
As long as you know, like you have to keep like a ledger of it, like a roster, so you know what the order is when you roll the D16. But you don't have to paint the number on it if you don't want to. I usually like do it underneath the base if I'm not going to put it on the player.
I like what you did where like I like what I've seen I've seen you do this, and I've seen some other people do this where they actually like kind of treat the base like a nameplate. I really like that.
Oh, I've never done that. I don't have anything like that. Yeah, no, I painted it on the guys.
Oh, you shared some photos with me that had it, I think.
Yeah. Some actually even in the starter box that you have behind you, there are water transfers that say blitzer that you're supposed to put on the base.
Mm.
And the numbers are in there and stuff. So like if you really wanted to go nuts with decals, you could. I feel like Blood Bowl like freehand numbers is some of like my favorite numbers. It's like, yeah, I made that 4 real good. Great 4. Love that 4.
See,
I don't use a decal for a 4. Come on.
Yeah, see that I actually look forward to stuff like that because especially with like an orc team, or like there's a like where they've just like literally in the jerseys, even on the video game, they just took a paintbrush and painted it on like themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looks like. So you're really liberated when you go to paint that on your model with their jersey numbers with some of these
teams. It looks like shit.
Yeah.
It's an orc did it. That's what I did on my orcs. Like number 2 is spelled like TOO. Like you wrote 2. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Like you wrote.
It's so dumb, but it's just like, yeah. That's what I mean by Blood Bowl being like liberating. It's like, who cares?
Well,
have fun with it.
It really is. I mean, that's been my experience. Like, don't get me wrong. I have been in extreme salt mode a couple times. The last couple seasons. Like there have been, I have been in extreme salt mode a couple times, but it's usually like a 3-card pileup of a bunch of factors. It's not always just the game. It's got to be like I'm already having a bad day, and some other stuff is going on, and like Blood Bowl doesn't feel like the game. I was having a conversation with someone in Discord, and they were like, I came home from work and I thought I was going to play a game of Blood Bowl and like blow off some steam, and everything went wrong in Blood Bowl, and now I'm like more agitated and I'm like
angry, yeah.
And I'm like, yep, been there. So that does happen too. It feels a little bit like when I used to try to unwind with League of Legends. If I win the game, it is pure catharsis. I am like, oh, everything's against me. Even League of Legends and my team didn't want to win so hard, but I dragged them across the finish line. I put on an extra large backpack and I threw everyone in it. And like you're like, yeah, like I feel like I could breathe fire. That's how powerful I am. But if you lose that game of League of Legends, you tilt immediately. You're tilted the rest of the day, and it's like I can't win anything. Table flip.
Promo matches on a bad day.
Oh yeah. I could probably do a seminar on psychology of gaming and tilt, and use League of Legends as the like essentially the case study of like what the psychology of like gaming, tilting, needing to take breaks between games of League of Legends is a real thing you must do. Like you have to like unless you're trained for that mental side, you got to walk away from your computer after a bad game. You have to.
So I quit that game because I was miserable every time I played it.
I'm only happy when I'm winning. So
even if I carried, I was just not. I just couldn't, because I hate team games. I hate them.
But
at least if I fuck up, then it's like, oh, I fucked up.
Right.
But if you fuck up,
yeah, no, there's League of Legends, and Dota 2 has some really bad toxicity. The worst thing about that's the elitism. The elitism in Dota 2 is like super like about as toxic as just generic League of Legends. League of Legends is toxic without the elitism, though. So I couldn't tell you which one's better or worse. Like how they managed to be that toxic with no skin in the game in like a ARAM or something. I'm just like, wow. But
he's trying to fucking
I can
of a bitch.
I can fix League of Legends for you. Does anyone pick Teemo at all? Grrr! Like table flip. We can't fucking win this game. Oh, you pick Teemo, so you immediately start flaming them in chat before you even start the game. So you're gonna tilt them. The average person is gonna tilt when the whole team tells them that they suck and that they're going to lose the game for them. Or if they do, like they happen to give up first blood, you pile on further, they get to that negative reinforcement stage, they do think they suck, now they don't care, yada, yada, yada. Like, turn off team chat. Team chat should not be in League of Legends. If I were king of Rito for a day...
Just the pings?
Just pings. You only get pings. Yeah. That's all. You get pings. And you have like a 5 ping limit, so no spamming question mark, question mark, question mark when someone dies. Like, you just can't do it. I'm a different human. When there is Mephisto, like, and then there's Mephisto on League. That human, like, you can meet Drunk Mephisto, you can meet Blood Bowl Mephisto, you can meet Age of Sigmar Mephisto, Daddy Mephisto, Yoga Pants Mephisto. There are various settings and faces of Mephisto. They're all
ultra rare.
Yeah, they're all roughly the same Mephisto. In you know, you meet me in League of Legends, you are not meeting me. I am not the same person, and I don't know.
I really hope that fighting game that they put out is good.
That'd be cool.
Hopeful.
Oh, Runeterra is sweet. They've got cool characters.
Runeterra is fun. Dude, I was playing it for like 6 months. It was like, well, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I like the characters. I like this, the settings, like, cool enough.
Yeah.
Just give me Not. A Not all day.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I wouldn't mind like some sort of like RTS or something like a full RTS style game or
something where I can play like League stuff, but just me versus another person. Where I don't have to fucking worry about my mid fucking up like when I'm trying to take blue.
Jungle.
Every time.
Jungle. Or your mid's been phoning it in like hard, and they think if they just get blue, that's gonna be what brings them back
can
in
I
it.
Get blue? No.
No, you're gonna donate it.
No, because that guy 6 months ago that took my blue and fed. No, never again. He ruined it for you.
He ruined it for you. He ruined it for everybody. No, it's funny. Not to get on the League tangent, but there are the
Andy if he's listening. He's not. I miss you, man.
The point was that Blood Bowl can tilt me, but it's the extremes of tilt. It is not League of Legends tilting. There are still days where like blowing off steam and then Nuffles against you can end up being a bad day too. But
hey, and
you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, you sound like you had something to say.
Just saying that like, but you have some of those lows so that you can super enjoy the highs. It's that XCOM thing I was talking about before. You're like 1% chance to succeed. That you're saying there's a chance, and then you get it, and it feels so good because you had to suffer to earn that. And then you got to play. There's a masochism to it. You gotta enjoy. You gotta be Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid. You
hurt me more. Snake.
Yeah, hurt me more, Nuffle. Like.
Well, and so Blood Bowl has this great thing called stunty teams, where if you're having a bad day and you want to just have a laugh, you hop on some goblins. You'll feel a lot better.
Oh yeah, you take the stakes out when you're playing a team like that. You remove the stakes so you're not as like try hard.
And you're just having fun.
I like not jungle, not top, not support, not mid. You know, I don't disagree with it. Nautilus is great. I call him Big Naughty. He can play anywhere, anything, anywhere.
I bought a 3D printer just so I could get a knot to paint. And he's right over there, and I love it.
Sajil popping off with a tier 1 sub for 9 years. Thank you so much.
9 years.
Thank you so much. Of chat gang, Sajil's the only person who has played a game of League of Legends with me. I'm pretty certain we won, and I'm fairly certain I went full like League meth and like was just like trash talking the enemy jungler the entire time.
You have to.
The whole time.
Right.
are like just smack talking them the whole time. Like, and then like they tilted on because someone on their team was being a douche, and so what you do is you just like turn them on that person harder.
Yeah, you fan the flames.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so like, oh man, they did you dirty, man. Like it's just like teeing off and like just.
My favorite is, where was your team? Question mark. That's all you need to say.
It's
And he would be like, yeah, where was my team?
Oh my god, it's so mean. It's so there's psychological warfare. That's how I think humans are basically good for the most part. I am one of those people. I think people are lazy and in general like ill-informed or not informed at all, right? I think that's people are generally like that. They live lives of quiet desperation, just trying to get through the day, trying to survive. That's most people. I don't think there's a lot of malice aforethought in most humans. Then I play League of Legends. I'm like, no, we're all evil. We're all sinners. We're all going to hell. This game, only bad people exist. Like League of Legends turns me into the most like, just like misanthropic, negative. Like it's just
So bad. But yeah, so Blood Bowl.
Yeah. So Blood Bowl isn't League of Legends. Is why I did that one.
Yes, exactly.
In fact, we have a 30-person league going on, and
Yeah.
I've gotten to meet folks from across the world. We played games together. We're making the
Dude.
schedules work. Go ahead.
Like, like the league brought in a lot of fresh blood to chat game, and I think like we're better for it.
Yeah.
We got some cool fucking people
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
from all over the world.
Yeah. Zero's from freaking Indonesia or Malaysia. Like we got like tons of. Yeah, it's awesome. So playing with like with folks from obviously the UK, some Australians, New Zealanders, Ziggy, who's been around, is just
Fucking
been
legend.
a blast to hang out with in chat, and he's joined us for sumo as well. So
Yeah, he's my like him. Me and him, and then Rocco. We were like the sumo gang, and then I catch you up, but we were there. Oh, big push.
yeah, big push. Big push.
Big push.
He pushed his way into our hearts, really.
He did. He really did. I used to hate him, and now I'm like, all right, I kind of like you now.
So Blood Bowl 2020 comes out. The game. We've been playing essentially not even Blood Bowl 2 on the digital port isn't even 2016.
It's like Legacy Rulebook 7 or something.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm not a Blood Bowl expert by any means. So
Blood Bowl 3 is theoretically slated for Q1, I think is what they said. That's the most recent I've seen. So right now you've got your Blood Bowl second edition, second season edition box. This has everything you need to play Blood Bowl 2 player. And
exactly. It has the pitch, it has the dice, the rulers, the rule book, the teams, everything, even the dugouts.
Yeah, your little dugout, cool little dugout thing, cards there where you put your dudes when they get pummeled. It even comes with some bonuses like a ref and stuff like that.
Yeah, it comes with 2 refs.
Yeah, they give the elf the red card, which is really funny because of course elves would be the bureaucrats.
Well, I mean, the dwarf also has a book of alleged grudges. We'll see how that goes. G-Dad, Hots is good. I used to love Hots. Hots was great.
I will abstain from my opinion on Hots.
Yeah, you didn't like it. Well, I'm not a fan of the company, so.
Well,
I'll just say that.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's a. We're entering
Yes.
rant cam territory if I get
Mega
on my
rant.
If I get on my Blizzard rant here. I guess I wanted to start out with how approachable is Blood Bowl 2020. I theoretically I'm eyeing up this box over here.
Yeah.
So
the changes they have made to the system are for the most part easier to understand. So you used to have to do math, like very basic math of like how will an agility test succeed?
Mm-hmm.
The goal number was 7. So if you were agility 2, it would be a 5 up to get you if you're agility 2, if you're an agility 2, you need to roll a 5 up. If you're agility 5, you need to roll a 2 up to get to that magic number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of confusing for new players because it's like, well, what they're agility 1, so what does that mean? Now it is just straight roll. It's like it's a 4 up, minus or plus, depending on what you're doing. There's no like intermediate math. Any 2d6 roll, like the tentacles roll, is now just a single roll. It's one thing.
Okay.
The passing rules, again, have been simplified. There's less like you need to know that a quick pass is 1 and picking up the ball is +1. It's all kind of like been leveled out. So I think in that respect, it's a lot more accessible. If you're talking about just the box itself, like it kind of, the teams that they give you they've done this great thing where they've tiered the teams in the rulebook, so you should know what an even match is. I don't agree with some of them, but generally speaking, you'll be fine. You get 2 tier 2 teams, so they're not even like killer teams. They're like, oh yeah, these are middle of the road, like, you know, pretty good. They're not garbage and they're not like super OP, so you'll have a good match. They've given you like complete teams. You know, you get the 6 orcs, the trolls, so you get the big guy in there too. Don't forget, and you get a star player, which is awesome because, and not like you're gonna use them in, you know, your first game, but you could if you wanted to.
Also gives you like something extra hobby too, though. Like it's just
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Having the big guy is huge because those models are like kind of, you know, you don't want to like dish out 20 extra bucks for one model when your team costs 35. So it's like it's really nice to have a complete team out of the box. You don't have to buy 2 boxes like you would have to with some of the other teams that they sell. Like the human team box only comes with 2 blitzers, but you can take up to 4. So where do you get those other 2 blitzers? Well, you can buy another box. Or the undead is notorious for that because you can get up to 4 ghouls. The box comes with 2 ghouls. You're gonna want 4 ghouls. So there's no other way to get them besides buying the other box or going third party. So it's nice that the starter box teams, they're done. You got them. You got everything you need. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
What are the ease of access? I think they've simplified some of the kickoff events. They've kind of codified how scattering and deviations work in terms of like where the ball goes. It's very spelled out.
This wacky D16 as well, where you're literally just rolling a D16 on like the prayers to Nuffle, like at the beginning.
Hey, see what you get.
Like just what's the number say? Like so 5.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah. What did I get? What did I get? I prayed to Nuffle.
See,
I got a 5.
Is it on the quick team? Oh no, hold on. I gotta go to the. Hold on. What you got? A 5?
I got a 5. What was my prayer?
Knuckle Dusters. Choose one player on your team that is available to play during this drive and does not have the loner trait. Until the end of this drive, that player gains Mighty Blow +1.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sick. And you get to pick who it goes on.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So it's like, oh man, if my werewolf only had Mighty Blow.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's why I play the team I play. It's all about the werewolves, baby.
Yeah. Pretty sick. Pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. So like. As far as like, so that's the box. You get a rule book conceivably. Is the rule book available for like individual purchase right now? Or
yeah, you can buy it by itself.
So, good thing that they did that they weren't doing with the LRL box. Shots fired. You can actually buy the rules for Blood Bowl. Just get your book, and that rule book has everything.
Yeah, it has everything. It has all the teams besides the legacy teams. So teams
which is available. Which is available as an official PDF from Games Workshop, which is super important in my mind. You're codifying that it's okay to play with this stuff, and we already touched on how this game is pretty grassroots, like community-driven. That means, like, someone wants to bring their Khemri team, they download a free PDF.
Yep, and they have officially sanctioned GW rules for Khemri.
Yep, perfect.
Official Tomb Kings recognition.
There you go.
For Games Workshop.
That's why Blood Bowl. See, there's one of the reasons why Blood Bowl is a superior game is official Khemri.
Tomb Kings exist.
Yeah, Tomb Kings exist.
But yeah, so you get all the teams that they have a plastic kit for are in this rule book. All of the star players that they have Forge World models for, with the exception of 2 or 3, but they're coming very soon. And then yeah, there's nothing in Blood Bowl that you could possibly need that is not baseline. So we have the Spike magazines. Those are like for fluff, but they also have like they focus on a particular team and they give you additional optional rules. So like a special kind of wizard. So when you buy an inducement for a wizard, usually you get the fireball and the lightning, as you would know from Blood
Now
Bowl
that's
2.
it's a frog, right? It turns
Yeah, but you get turned into a frog. You can frog your own guy too. So like if you have a gutter runner and you're afraid of them dying, you're just like, oh, he's a frog now. The worst he can get is KO or badly injured or like he misses the current game. But like for example, the newest Spike that just came out, there is basically a Dr. Frankenstein who before the game you pick D3 players and you make a roll on a 5 or 2 to a 5 they get a random mutation. On a 6 they get a random mutation and they get to keep it. And on a 1 they are immediately injured. So like it's just a fun like, oh yeah, cool, I'll roll with the Dr. Frankenstein. He's like 130k inducement. Like it's just like this little fun thing. But like for base rules, everything you need is going to be in that box.
So and we kind of go ahead.
No, right after you.
No, we kind of on the last episode sort of touched on you have a team value are your points. You build your roster that way, and then the game is ideally set up to play through like sort of a league mode, which is like a Path to Glory type thing, or if you play tabletop RPGs or video games on the internet, it's like an RTS/RPG leveling system. Where as you're playing, you're getting star player points. You're progressing certain models, leveling up skills and stuff like that. And there's basically a universal skill sheet inside of that book. So
Yeah, and it lays it out pretty cleanly on how to run a league and like all that kind of fun stuff. They give you a little page so you can photocopy to write your rosters down. Like people photocopy things anymore. They do have it on the website. It's with the Teams of Legend PDF and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Games Workshop has done a lot better job. I've seen in these last few months of really hyping Blood Bowl, really actually like paying attention to it. Again, they got their own podcast now. They're doing these awesome Jim Bob.
We're getting like 4 teams a year, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like this super niche game, like that's like, I don't know, I bet it sells better than Warcry does. I'm not actually sure. It might not.
I think if it's on par with Warcry, I think they have they're in a happy position.
Yeah, and we're getting these beautiful teams, like unique sculpts, and it's like, oh, this is fantastic.
I'm looking at this
way more than I expected.
Yeah. I'm looking at this dwarf skeleton star player right now, and I'm like,
Skrull half height. Yeah, I'm like, he's sick.
I love this for 2 reasons. The first one being, finally, we have a game where they release the alternate species skeletons.
Yes.
So thank you. But also, really good like character and detail to it. Like he's not throwing the football; he's got an arm that has the football, which is like super undead and meta. It's so that he gets the extra height on his windup. Is really what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his name is Skrull half height. Like that's pretty fucked up. Call a dwarf.
Kind of mean.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Like so much character in there.
Yeah,
I love that model.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I'm like, I would want this just hanging around. Like, if I can imagine that scenario where like you need 4 skeletons, you only have 2 coming in your starter box. You're like, okay, buy this as one of your other skeletons.
Just use them. Why not?
Yeah, use it as a blitzer or whatever. Like, cool.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter, right? As long as your opponent knows and you know.
It's clearly marked and it's clearly denoted. There you go. Piece of cake.
You could even like paint I've seen people paint the base rims different colors to indicate what kind of players they are. So like reds for a blitzer, greens for a blocker, yellows for a catcher, whites for a thrower, like et cetera, et cetera. So like it's even like you could have just played with the base and it would be fine.
I mean,
Blood Bowl is one of those games that you could play with cardboard cutouts and it wouldn't impact the game in the slightest. I mean, it wouldn't be as fun, but
cardboard hammer.
Yeah, playing AoS with cardboard is just not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no carnage in that
Yeah.
that I want.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. So yeah, you get your book, you got all your rules, you get this box, it's pretty great. And I just want to say right now, I mean, if you ever there was a time to get into Blood Bowl, this is it. I know Mini Stomp was like went hard in the paint, and he's got a bunch of boxes laying around. So if you haven't been able to find a box at your friend at the local gaming store, you can always go to Mini Stomp. At Mini Stomp on Twitter, he'll tell you how to order stuff, and he usually cuts you a pretty good discount. So if you want to get in on that, but man, I've been sitting here and I keep looking back at this box, and I've been like not fidgeting. I've been trying not to fidget, and what that translates
I'm really
to,
bad at that.
what it translates to is like I've been trying not to walk over there, start opening it, and going through it while you've been talking. Like,
It's a hefty box. Enjoy your unboxing whenever that happens.
yeah, what's a local gaming store? Right. It's been
so long.
it's been 84 years or whatever the hell.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
Suffer.
Yeah. So I guess approachable to new players. You think overall this is more approachable than like 2016, and
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
He's gone. Frank. No. His take was too hot for the internet to handle. So I don't know. I think I've been kind of championing Blood Bowl for a little bit because of certainly because of the COVID situation. You joke about like what local gaming store. The fact that I can play this on the internet has been a really good boost. I know Frank has actually been running tabletop simulator games of Blood Bowl 2020 now. So if anyone's interested in learning the lay of the land before you even buy in on anything, Frank has been running those tabletop simulator games.
I dropped out there for a second there.
I figured you just had a hot take, like too hot to handle for the internet, so just cut out. And I was just mentioning to folks that like even if they don't want to buy in immediately on Blood Bowl, though, like I really have been championing this. Hey, play Blood Bowl 3 with the Rantcast League. If you want, you could jump in on Blood Bowl 2. I don't know. I don't know if I want to like say, hey, go buy the old game that we might not play anymore. Wait for Blood Bowl 3. Jump in with us if you haven't bought in already. So there's one handy way getting into Blood Bowl, kind of dipping your toe in without having to like buy a huge box or buy a whole army or something or a whole team.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to go that route, I mentioned they could play Tabletop Simulator with you, which is provided you have TTS. It's not going to cost you a dime to just download the pack, and you'll teach.
It's 2 seconds, and even if you like, you could just play it with like pawns and queens from like a chessboard if you're that desperate. Like,
yeah.
It wouldn't be hard. But yeah, TTS. I will actually advocate TTS usage for Blood Bowl. I'm not a fan of it for AoS, but for Blood Bowl, scratches that itch.
The grid.
And I really have been enjoying using using a rule book in person to like figure out what the roles are and that kind of stuff, because Blood Bowl 2 spoils you and doing all of those things for you.
Yeah, it's going to help you with a learning curve a little bit. But I mean, that is something that is worth noting. You can actually take your Blood Bowl rule book and open it up, and the rules are correct in it.
Yeah, they did just release an FAQ.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was some. The third stringer, the third or fourth stringer interns got that those FAQ questions. The first stringers were busy with 40K. The second, obviously, are on AoS, and the third or fourth were relegated to Blood Bowl duty.
The guy who gets the coffee for the guy who gets the coffee.
Yeah.
Hotspur, there is just the rules difference. Blood Bowl TTS will be like anything else on TTS, you're doing everything manual. There's no automatic rolling. There's no like seeing what the weather is automatically. You have to do it as you would on the tabletop. So you could play it with any edition of Blood Bowl rules if you so desire. I would highly advocate, though, playing with the new rules because they're here and I have them in my hands. And they're lovely. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And Blood Bowl 2 is kind of locked in on that pre-2016 Blood Bowl, and Blood Bowl 3 will be kind of locked in on 2020's rule set.
Go ahead. Yeah, They designed Blood Bowl 3 with the intent, as far as I'm aware, to keep the rules as up to date as it's going to be for the tabletop.
Well,
Like it's going to be a 1-to-1.
the Blood Bowl 2 video game was a success. I don't think the devs anticipated. Like
Yeah,
licensing stuff is always a little risky because you have to pay that licensing fee, and then you take all the risk to produce a game. Um, and one was kind of unsung. Blood Bowl 2 got some success and notoriety. Got a lot of people playing. Blood Bowl 3, I fully expect that game to be a fully supported video game and service.
oh yeah.
Personally, but we currently play Blood Bowl 2, so we're playing with outdated rules. It does all the calculations for you and stuff, which does kind of. You are going to have to learn that stuff going to the tabletop because you haven't internalized, you know, all of the different patterns of blocking and stuff like that are going to shift your dice rolls. The game automatically does that for you. When you do that on the tabletop, you're going to start to recognize that, oh, this is where, I've got a penalty
Right.
here or whatever.
And it's funny because like I know a lot of people like go and like try to path their player on Blood Bowl 2. Like they'll go click and see what the path looks like if there's any like dodges or stuff in the way, and you'll miss it, and they go, oh shit, and they have to dodge out, and it's like on a 6-up. On tabletop, you don't have the luxury of seeing like, oh wait, hey, there's a dodge there. You have to see the player in the way, so you have to kind of be more aware of it. I think Blood Bowl 2 taught me a lot of bad habits about pre-pathing and not looking at what players were.
Yeah, so I do think it's good. It's good and bad. Good with the bad. One thing I do think is it is a great digital port of the tabletop experience. You lose some of the personal touches of a tabletop, but you gain some of the advantages of a video game, which is animations and the voice acting for Bob and Jim is pretty great.
I'm a big fan of like the animations in that game. Some of them are fucking funny.
Oh, the dwarves beating you with the tankard, like for a foul.
The goblin foul where like they pounce on you like a trampoline. It's fantastic.
Well, and
I expect no less from the Blood Bowl 3 either. Like I think it's going to be to the same quality.
Yeah, more player customization is what we asked for. They said they heard us. I want more animations. Just continue to do the stuff that is very Blood Bowl-y over there.
And they showed off they're going to allow a lot more customization of the players too, which I'm super jazzed on because Blood Bowl 2 is just like a head option and like your team color, and like Blood Bowl 3 it looks like you can give them like personal effects like different hair and like armor pieces and like a little more granularity on that.
Cool.
I'm super down with that.
Yeah, me too. It's the SmackDown effect, right? Like SmackDown, the WWE games where like I could fully customize my yeah. If I can design 16 wrestlers instead of one, isn't that way more fun? Yeah.
The stable. Hotspur, yeah, you can learn without playing TTS. But you need to have the rule book and somebody to play with.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, the game this is a board game, right? Like, this is a board game to be...
100%.
It happens to have some digital ports, and just like with TTS, with AoS, I mean, you're playing a simulated experience of what would be a better in-person experience. So it's kind of like in COVID, we've had to get creative with still getting our tabletop gaming in, right?
Yeah.
So...
Get it, scrape whatever scraps you can get. We'll take it.
Table scraps, would you call them? Because it's
table scrap simulator.
Yeah,
that's what I'm calling it now.
So what are some of the key changes between Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl 3?
Yeah. So of course, all the changes that went through for 2016 from Blood Bowl 2 to 2016. Those were then built on for 2020. The big one everyone loves to talk about is there is now agility has been split into a specific agility stat and a specific passing stat. Used to be both are the same, which meant that elf teams were really good at passing because hey, they had high agility, so it means they passed the ball well. Now it's not so much the case. The passing stat has definitely isolated like thrower positionals on people's teams as the people who will throw the ball.
So you can still take the shot in the dark where, like, I've had a ghoul throw it to my golem and he caught it on a 6-up or something. It just absolute. You can still do that.
Still there. No problem. Well, so certain players have a passing stat of dash, which means they cannot pass the ball.
Really?
Yeah. They've removed passing from zombies. Like, you cannot pass on a zombie. You can hand off, but you can't pass. I know. It was a big blow for me too.
No. But Bones Jackson, he's got a.
Another big difference is the leveling system has been reworked completely.
Okay.
So as you play through matches, you gain star player points, and you get through a threshold, you get a new skill. Skills are now you used to have to roll 2d6 and see if you would get a single skill or a double skill, basically a more common skill or a rare skill for that player, respectively. Now, it's not that you roll 2d6, you save up SPP to buy a skill in that category. So it used to be you'd have to roll doubles to get block on a mummy. Now you just need to save up the requisite amount of SPP to either roll randomly on a table for block or to get block flat out. And there are a lot of different tiers of
Does it, like, cost more to?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, for example, if you roll a random skill, it costs a random single skill, or they call the primary and secondary skills now. Let's say you want to get, like, on a lineman, you're getting a general skill. You can either pay 3 and roll randomly, or you can pay 6 and pick one. If you roll them randomly, it also reduces the TV cost of that skill too. Point buy is better than rolling.
Take it personally. I take it personally. No.
No, it's not. Get out of here.
No, he's trying to.
Go to jail.
Dave's trying to trigger me directly. I see you. I see you working, chat gang.
So you can pick your skills now, which means you can build a way more specialized player. That being said, you also won't ever have the chance of just getting a strength up on a player. You'd have to work for it. It's 18 SPP, and even then, it's a random stat increase.
So, I don't know if this is better. Okay, so
it's kind of a side grade.
Agi passing, better or worse? Just your opinion.
I personally don't like. I think they've made passing worse. In the 2020 rules, because it's like, okay, this guy's going to be the guy that passes the ball most of the time. So you kind of know where it's coming from, where it used to be like, oh, you'd take a cheeky pass on a zombie or something, where it's like, oh, there's no way he would throw at the zombie, and then you throw at the zombie. And it's like, yeah.
So this is you don't like the Agi passing change.
I don't. It needed to happen because elf teams were way too good at manipulating the ball and being like
high Agi. Yeah, this is why we in Chat Gang have what we call elf bullshit. Like elf
bullshit.
Elves have elf bullshit. Like
now
powers.
They still have elf bullshit. Don't get me wrong. However, gutter runners aren't passing on a 2-up anymore. Yeah. So they're not like hyper fast, hyper dodge, hyper passers.
Mm-hmm. So it had to be mitigated. Is this
I don't.
Go ahead. Finish your
thought. After you.
Do you think that they did a good job of mitigating it, or is this like a in the oven type thing? It needs to go back in the oven. We'll look at the next pass of this.
I want to say it's like just barely out of the oven.
Okay.
Like they put in. It's not a negligible amount of work to like figure out how to make things work. I think some teams have come out way better for it. Like the human team,
Camry
is actually like, yeah. Camry can actually like throw the ball now, which is like you can pick up the ball in the rain. First of all, which I am jazzed about. But like the human team used to be kind of like, they're okay. They're
why
like
play this jack of all, like a jack of all trades, master of none, except where it's a bad thing because like you need specialists a little bit. Like
you have a 5 and everything instead of like a 7 and like a 6 and everything.
Yeah.
But humans now have great passing. Fantastic pass.
Yeah.
On a 2-up pass, sure hands. Great, love them. So it's kind of like a side grade in that respect. And
I do love their 1-star player, by the way. Griff, whatever, like.
Yeah, Griff Oberwald.
Like Oberwald, like actually really cool. There's a moment when you're playing Blood Bowl 2, and like you throw a touchdown pass, and like he takes off his helmet and it's Griff like Overwald, and you're like,
Yeah.
and like Bob's just like, oh my, like we heard a rumor that he's here, Jim, but there he is, Griff Overwald. Like it's so hype, and I'm like, yeah. So like I have this canon attachment to this character that doesn't exist in a greater continuity of any sort of real world or setting, based on one video game experience.
You know what's kind of amazing is you have like such a positive memory coming out of a tutorial.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of nuts.
It's so good. It was so funny. I mean, that's one of the advantages again of video game. The video game advantage that I hope Blood Bowl 3 leans into: a better campaign, better tutorial. Like give me like a story mode. You know, that was the most story mode thing that really happened. Is like that, and Bob takes to the field because he gets angry.
Bob takes the pitch. Yeah.
And then you can play with Bob for a little bit.
He's a beast.
Oh, and he's got the pile on, so he's just mugging people. It's so good.
That
part,
also like so.
Yeah, go ahead.
My thoughts with the passing is like it's kind of a side grade. I think the same thing for the leveling.
Okay.
You get to make more dedicated kind of. You know, you have to pick what your build is. You used to have to rely on rolling the doubles or rolling the stat up. Now it's like, well, you save up for it, which is good and it's bad because you don't get sort of cheeky strength up on a goblin now. You have to like save up.
Yeah, and then why would you do that?
6 touchdowns worth of stuff. It's like that's not the same.
Yeah. No,
But having a block mummy every time.
Yeah. See, that feels like more of a side grade, that is very specifically a side grade. Because now you can plan your teams, planning is good, and so on and so forth. But there's a beauty to the chaos of suddenly having like an Agi 4 white, you know, when you're
That's
like,
great, and then you're like, oh shit.
Oh, this changes my whole team dynamic now that this just happened. I wasn't going to do that because I would have just taken block and dodge every time. But like,
and like you
now
still can roll randomly for skills, but just the attribute increase is not as you're not gonna have the special players anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. That felt kind of cool to like have that, and then like, you know, and then sort of shift. Wait, my team suddenly got a passing attack now, like, and you know,
or you know, Rocco's patented Rocco Blocco Dauntless Skink. I mean, that was just the doubles roll, but he got strength 3. Oh man, could you imagine a strength 3 skink?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
People will do it for the meme, though. Oh man, I'm gonna do it for the meme. What am I saying?
Yeah. So that feels like a true side grade. I think the Agi passing thing is, I think, with one more her pass over, where maybe just nothing has a dash passing stat. Maybe that's the next step.
Yeah.
Like
and
nothing.
I think also they made a kind of a mistake with wildly inaccurate passes. So, a fumble. If you roll a 1, you fumble the ball, which means it scatters from your position.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail the passing attempt, it's wildly inaccurate, and basically you throw the ball in a scatter direction. It's way worse than a fumble, and you get it on a result that's more common. I don't like. You could possibly throw the ball backwards, like to your end zone, for them to get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, holy shit, I'm never gonna pass.
Well, one of the most terrifying things in the game is when that football goes out of bounds while you're playing. Not so much the touchback, but when you're playing it and then it just goes out of bounds. That scatter the throw-in can be completely like game changing, completely
nightmarish.
Yeah, like I've had games where like I don't have a shot, then they throw it and I'm just like I happen to have this one straggler zombie of all things hanging out here, and like suddenly I'm the only one with a chance at the football.
You're like, ooh,
okay, yeah. And now that's just more of a realistic thing happening, but also happening on a more common situation, which is
if you're passing, which that's the big thing. It's like you actually have to pass the ball, and most people didn't really pass the ball that much. It's very much a handoff kind of cage situation.
Yeah. All right. One of the other changes though was the interception thing.
You go to deflect now and then try to intercept.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because like you might not want to get possession of the ball. You might just want to stall like so that their turn runs out. So you can just slap the ball down.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it's processed is different now in a minutia way that I don't think is worth like going into on the podcast. It's like it's such a like niche thing to know that like you're fine. You don't need.
Yeah, but
Just,
the point is it changed it to being a couple extra steps that are in this
yeah.
case this was a move towards realism that I think benefits the game because rolling more dice in Blood Bowl in not in terms of a volume of dice, but just having like a couple every time you're rolling dice is a hype moment in Blood Bowl. Every
Yeah.
time. So you have that one extra hype moment where you're like,
oh, deflected. Can I convert it to
yeah.
an interception?
Yeah, so I like that. It also takes some of the radical flips in the game a little bit away in a game that like flips on its head.
Yeah, like if you like, my mummies are notorious for catching interception.
Oh, good.
Now
That
that will
movement
be-
3, like
Yeah, but now it's more common that they'll deflect the ball instead of actually catching it.
right.
They've also like gone through and made some changes to some of the rosters. So like for example, the Chaos team, you'd have the Chaos Chosen and the Beastmen, and then the Minotaur. Now you can take instead of the Minotaur, you have the option of taking either a troll or an ogre on the regular Chaos team. That really changes up how they make their starting roster and how they're gonna play in the end. Because the Minotaur is great for blitzing, but it's very unreliable. Whereas like the ogre and the troll are pretty like solid. They do different things, but like just adding one little piece to that whole puzzle makes that team a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah.
And similarly, like they nerf some stuff. So like some teams' rerolls got more expensive or their players got worse. Well, War Dancer got a double nerf in that now costs a lot more, and Leap is now no good.
Is anyone upset? Is anyone upset that War Dancers got worse?
Nope.
I feel like
Not a soul.
I feel like Necromantic, which is of course my team, got a nerf because we don't
Big shakeup.
It's a shakeup more than a nerf. Whites.
I mean, I do think it's a nerf.
Yeah.
But I think it also gives the team a lot more of an identity. It's not just like undead with werewolf. It's now like a different team.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. It felt like a nerf losing whites.
But yeah, because you're losing whites, the coolest piece on the team.
Yeah. I mean, and now you really have to decide: how bad do I want those werewolves? It's a real.
Werewolves.
It's such a decision though. It's okay. I'm gonna own 5 Blood Bowl teams. It's fine. I'll be buying a shambling undead too now.
I mean, you don't even have to get you have most of a shambling team anyway. You just need
mummies. I need mummies.
Skeleton.
And skeletons in place of the werewolves essentially. And
That's
I'm going to paint my whites that are coming. My Punga whites. I'm gonna paint those all ghosty colors so that they're the wraiths as well.
Hey, they're a wraith now.
Yeah, they're a wraith because they're made out of ghostiness. So, plus I get to practice a new technique, and then I'll have my vampires, which will be like my taking my time for my pleasures type army, and that's gonna be my destruction as death army or team.
Sure.
So I'm gonna that's gonna be. You know how you talked about when you play like you go to play goblins when you need to break. That's going to be that team for me. It's going to be like
have fun with vampires who are very tier 3 in my opinion.
But that's the thing is it's the stakes, stakes like a vampire. Yeah.
Hey, if you're playing them against goblins, you'll probably have a blast. or the pigs. Playing them against the pigs.
How many teams are there in Blood Bowl? Like
over 20.
Over 20. So
I could count.
You don't need to waste the airtime and count them physically.
Okay, but I need to know, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay, you count, and I'm gonna go ahead and catch up on Chat Gang here. We'll see. Point buy is better than rolling. I remember you. I feel like wolves are an easier choice to take in Necromantic now. I mean, yeah, you take both of them now, no question. Whereas before, 2 felt like overkill a little bit because I'm usually all like blitzing with 1 werewolf a turn. Like almost always, just werewolf goes and does the blitz now. Having 2, you're able to do that in 2 different positions on the field. Hopefully, you can get block on both of them pretty quickly because
I mean, you can if you were brave enough to roll it for 3 SPP, you could get block right off the block. 2 touchdowns will get you block. guaranteed, no questions asked. They've also changed how the MVP works. It's back to
they can't
changed,
give
like the number around.
Yeah, and it can't go to a dead player anymore.
It can't go to a dead player or a star player anymore. So that's good.
That's a good change. That is a good change.
I know you're really happy about that one.
I'm super happy. The first MVP I got went to my first casualty in the history of the entire game. Dead Zombie got it, and I was livid. 26 teams.
26 teams, yes.
Plus, is that including the legendary teams or the?
That is including the legendary team.
It's not bad. Considering Age of Sigmar has been more directly supported and has 32 teams? That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
How much does a team cost? Like on average?
If you go to buy the box, one box from GW, I think is like $35.
You're
very easy.
You got to pick up a couple extra models, but
depends on which team you're playing. Like, so if you're playing dwarfs, you get everything you need in the box.
Okay. Including a death roller?
No, you don't. You have to buy the death roller stuff. That's for crazy people. It's $40 for the Blood Bowl team, which is nothing compared. That's like a box of battle line. You know?
Mortec Guard is $60. Like for 20 Mortec Guard, it's $60.
Oh, and it's worth noting when you do buy a team, if you buy from GW and most third parties, you get your little team tokens and a little score thing, and they'll give you and they give you balls, so like balls that are specific to your team. Mm-hmm. So like the orc team has like a squig that like ate a ball as like one of theirs, and like the shambling undead team's got like a skull ball, like as you would think.
Kicker, rub salt in the wound a little bit here. He said, "My bad. He died on the first play." Also, it's just out the gates.
Just Blood Bowl things.
Smoked, yeah. Herc the Jerk is a staple of the community too. Except he's now Herc the Dead Jester because he leveled up, and apparently his name changes and evolves as he levels. He used to be Herc the Jerk, and now he's Herc the Dead Jester, which is really funny.
Oh, what a blast!
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, there really has been a community that's sprung up around this. Obviously, chat gang. Like, if you're on the Blood Bowl hype train with us already, you're on the Blood Bowl hype train. But if you're just listening to this episode with a random curiosity to it, I talk about Age of Sigmar being like the best community in gaming. I stand by that. But this Blood Bowl community that we've kind of built organically, this isn't like whereas Age of Sigmar, it kind of like you show up and then you just people are already like congratulating you and patting you on the back. Blood Bowl has been something that we've really done together, like this DIY, do it ourselves, sort of like organically build it up, and I really feel like that is sort of the Blood Bowl vibe in general. It is,
and I think it's a shared kind of suffering in a way. We've all had. No, I mean that in a good way. It's like, you have a shithouse game, and you see somebody else having a shithouse game, and you're like, oh man, no. And like it kind of like forges this like relationship between you and that person. Like, you have true sympathy in like the purest sense.
Well, so we've all failed a key charge in Age of Sigmar, right? We've all been like, I just needed to roll a 4. And I had my tournament, and I had my tournament reroll because I like donated to the raffle or the charity event. So I had my tournament reroll, and like I just couldn't get it. And you have like those commiserate moments like that. But in Blood Bowl, it's like my player died in the league first play of the game, and I had to limp on the rest of the season. And like someone else was like, "Oh man, I was playing this game, and a freaking wood elf jumped up and drop kicked my like star player, my player I've been developing all season, and it's dead now." Like,
or the crowd threw a rock at my witch elf, and now she's dead. like the other player didn't even do it; the crowd did it.
But so it's like it's that turn to 11 is that like the commisery you feel, but also the triumph of like right now I'm standing super hard for our dark elf player who could possibly go for the repeat super
beat me in the finals.
So I'm hoping he does the Super Blood Bowl repeat, because that would mean that via the transitive property of greatness, I am as great as the Super Bowl champion.
You beat him.
Because I beat him this season. I'm the only person who handed him an L. So there's that expression I like to go to is someone's always walking around with an L to hand you. You just gotta dodge them, or he did not dodge me. He took that L. He's got to hold that for the rest of his life.
Here you go.
You're gonna hold that.
just go to Michael's in the little wood section and get a big.
Oh, if I have to mail him another trophy, I'm going to woodcraft an L and sign it.
Chisel it out of. It's just like, my masterpiece.
And just mail it to. If I have to mail him another Blood Bowl trophy, that's what I'm gonna like. He'll get the Blood Bowl trophy, and then from Anthony Polcastro, who's 3D printed us trophies now, 2 seasons. I'm like, dude, you don't have to. We could just be mailing them around and signing them. And he's like, no, I'm just scaling them down now. And I'm like, that's fair.
He failed with that 2+ rerolling.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun in Blood Bowl. One of the things that I haven't gotten to touch on yet that I really really do want to like hammer home is the art. I love the box art over here. And you've got the book there, so you can show it off.
I have a very specific image in mind that I was just like, yo, this is the coolest.
Like, so while you look at that, this art, it's got these like really sharp edges. It almost looks like super classical in that sort of like how fantasy art, like the old Hobbit cartoon and like old like almost like oil painting style, like Frazetta cover art. It's got a little bit of that like cartoonish oil paint quality to it.
Let's see. We can make this out. That's a skeleton fan raising from the grave
to root
for Guy Fieri #1 finger. Fucking sick.
So like stylistically, it's got this like really great art to it, where it feels like it's from the 80s. But with like modern
soul.
Oh, tons of soul. Yeah, tons of soul. Miles of style. But then there's this whimsy to it all, and not the like whimsy, like we go too far and everything's silly and like we don't even care, like it's too silly to even care. It's like it's this like hardcore whimsy is the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, it's. I know what you mean.
It's like almost like what was that magazine? The rock and roll magazine called
Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal. It's got like a heavy metal quality to it.
Yeah, the cartooniness. Yeah.
Where it's like cartoony but hardcore and stuff like that. So, I mean, I love this art. It's all throughout the book. We were paging through it. I mean, it has been a great year for great book art. I mean, the cover of the LRL book the Battle Tome is stellar. I mean, you could frame that as a full-size oil painting, and someone would come to your house, and you could lie to them and say some fancy artist's name, and they'd be like, "Oh,
yes, of course."
Yeah, of course.
We've all heard of him.
Yeah, Soulbound's art, as far as tabletop RPGs go, is on the short list of best. I'd have to like think about it too long, but easily top 3 of tabletop RPG art I have ever seen, and certainly the best.
Of that stuff is whacked out, super cool.
Shout outs to Cubicle 7. They did a great job with it. They've really put the attention to detail into it. And this just stylistically is my jam. I don't know how to explain it. Like, this is the kind of shit I would put all over my walls in my house.
How does this make you feel?
Confused and excited.
Come on, that's great.
the Ungor cheerleader. Yeah, there's just it's got this like it's got this quality to it that I think it permeates all of this game. So like people talk about the world it was and that had a really like dour feel to it, which is neither here nor there. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. That was part of it. It felt very dour, very like almost stuffy a little bit. Like it kind of congested,
yeah.
kind of.
Oh yes, fantasy battle.
But if you want that, some of that, like, what made that fantasy, that sort of, that Brit humor, that, like, like, a little bit of that old world feel to it, but then you want to, like, some whimsy where they crank it to 11 without going fantasy, or, like, going into the sci-fi. Like, that's what Blood Bowl feels like. When you're playing, like, your Khemri team, you're like, oh, this is Khemri. But then it's just, like, a little weird, a little cool, That you have.
Yeah, it's got rough edges and it's not worried about it.
Yeah, it doesn't polish down those sharp edges. It doesn't mind.
It's fine. Doesn't matter. Blood Bowl. Who gives a shit?
Blood Bowl, baby. So fill the box with glitter when you mail it. Oh, I love you, Chat Gang. You get all the good ideas. I love this art that they use in this.
No, it's dude. When you page through that book, you'll just see like little like, stuffs in the margins that are just like it's funny because whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
Just like a slam that's got like a hot dog and like a he's got like the beer helmet with like a little straw going in his mouth. It's like, yeah, Slan's holding hot dogs. This is why I'm here. This is what we signed up for.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dead Montana redeeming 1,000 RDP to remind everyone the Chat Gang ain't nothing to fuck with.
It's true.
It's true.
We're not.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much to talk about with Blood Bowl, and yet it feels infinite impossibility. Is there anything else you want to kind of mention about Blood Bowl?
I'll say this: it's the same Blood Bowl you know and love, with a little bit of fresh coat of paint on it. That's like people are acting like, oh, it's a completely different game. It's like, no, it's still Blood Bowl. You're still gonna roll those one dice pals, and you're still gonna roll double skulls twice. Don't get it wrong. It's still Blood Bowl. It's just like a fresh. They took all the weird stuff and they wrapped it up. They've added some new skills. They've nerfed some things. It's kind of like little spring cleaning. That's a good.
Well, you
spring cleaning.
Yeah, you gotta get fresh. You gotta get that fresh take on an old staple. I mean, if you're jumping into a game like this, you compete in for the long haul. The community that we've built here will be here for you as long as we can be. I'm looking forward to Blood Bowl 3, the video game, because I like places where all the voices in my head come together to hang out. Part of the reason why I like Age of Sigmar is it unites a lot of the clans for me. It's the narrative. I'm a writer, the storytelling, my WWE persona, which if you haven't seen yet, my mom,
adorable.
My grandma mailed me a massive stack of photos. And seriously, shout out to Grandma Mephisto.
Grandma Fisto.
Yeah, Grandma Fisto. She painstakingly tracked down like a bunch of photos. There's not a bunch of photos of me, just due to basically being a pseudo orphan, going to 6 different high schools with 6 different families, and that was just high school. There's not a lot of photos of me, so she tracked down aunts, uncles, foster parents. She got a lot of my stuff from my mom when my mom died. She tracked down a bunch, and she just put it all in one big padded, one of those big padded document envelopes, and sent it to me. And so I got to share with Dear Chat Gang not only a vision of like a 14 or 16-year-old Mephisto, but also some of my indie wrestling photos when I was wrestling
adorable.
I was wrestling as Ginger, which was my female wrestler gimmick, and in a dress. In the photo, I am not wearing a wig. The first bump I took, which was off an arm drag, fell off, and I never got it back. So I was just going around. I had just cut my hair the week before. The promoter was pissed because I showed up and was pissed that I had short hair, and part of the whole booking me as a female wrestler was I had long hair and kind of lanky, and I'm gonna say it. I'm pretty. I was a pretty man. I was a pretty man.
Yeah, you were a little toothpick of a guy.
Super lanky, super lithe. Yeah. I was very, very, very svelte though. Very
svelte.
Yeah. Very, very toned. Very toned. Very, very strong. It's the healthiest I've ever been. Was as a wrestler. And I was jogging and swimming. So.
Right on.
I had no problem body slamming 300-pound folk. So. It was So that was one of the matches. The only match anyone I knew showed up to. My grandma came to it. It was one of my first ones I'd been booked, and she showed up. It was in a bar in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. They had the money to either book a band or a wrestling show. They booked a wrestling show. I wrestled 2 matches. One is Ginger, one is Dark Angel Damon Andrews, which is my normal gimmick. and with the Damon Cutter, my finisher. What?
Doomslayer.
Yeah. So that was it. So I got to share a photo of that. That's up on Twitter. I'll retweet it or something after the show in case if folks missed it.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
So you're pumped for Blood Bowl 3 because it kind of like condenses all of your outlets and interests.
Right, and the one that's kind of been hard to like reconcile with all my interests. Like, okay, I get the wrestling persona into Age of Sigmar. The video game side, I wouldn't like Age of Sigmar as a video game. I've had trouble playing TTS Age of Sigmar.
I can't do it.
But like with Blood Bowl 3, like that XCOM, that hit of like that sweet like hit
just
of
push the button.
Yeah, just
it's like looking at the percentage. It's like 13%.
Oh, that.
Like,
yeah, like that, and sitting in like comfortably in my chair with headphones on, a stack of friends hanging out in Discord, chatting with them all, like that social video gaming that I really enjoy.
It's different. It's so different.
Yeah, it's just a different thing. So I mean, I feel like a complete human now. Like I'm getting I got my Age of Sigmar. I've got like my roadmap through collecting Slaanesh because I'm doing it, Frank. I've got my Chaos God, just like you got your Chaos God. Yeah, so.
And we're supposed to hate each other, right?
All I know is my Slaanesh are going to be fabulous, and they're too fabulous for hate. Like they're just they're I've needed that. I've needed the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure side of Slaanesh.
Hey, so have you seen JoJo's Bizarre
I've
Adventure?
read it. I've never seen this new anime.
You know what? If you're looking, I gave you a big list of stuff. Yeah, give that one a little looky-loo.
Yeah.
You might see an Italian guy look another Italian guy, and then it'll make sense.
There's a Zoomies love JoJo right now, and like
everybody loves JoJo.
But like from like the Gen X, sort of stance of JoJo, I remember JoJo. I was familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure before I was familiar with Dragon Ball Z, which is like weird because
that's wild.
Because JoJo was like essentially a deconstruction of DBZ. It was like a mockery of it. That's why it's so over the top.
Are you saying that JoJo is a deconstruction of DBZ?
Yeah.
No,
vice versa. Vice versa.
Not necessarily so. No, they operate in the same genre, but I don't think
they're both shonen.
Yeah. JoJo originally was just like, hey, Fist of the North Star is cool. What if I did that, but like, there's vampires and like Italian guys punching frogs, and that would be cool. And then it kind of just went off the rails.
Well, and the coolest bad guy ever, Dio Brando.
Oh, he's like, it's so hard to top Dio, man. Dio's so cool.
Well, like it lives in like 80s hair metal. Is if 80s hair metal was a martial art form, like,
Yeah, and then there's like a period in which his art style starts to change more into favor of like Vogue fashion, and it's a really weird transition of these like super muscular, like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you, and then like really slender, like more interesting abilities. Like,
it's well, I mean, it's messing with macho masculine tropes and stuff, which
100%.
is really cool.
And then you get to like the boy band part, and you're like, yo, this is pretty cool though.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty neat. But I read the manga, and then I played the video game in like the early '90s for like a little bit. The
fighting game?
Yeah, the fighting game.
Oh, that game's jank.
It was not
that game's
good.
Got some shit.
It was
good, but it's jank.
It was around the first time I discovered emulators.
Oh yeah.
So I emulated it.
Those magical, those halcyon days.
I played one of the original like Fighter Z games, which was really, really janky. It was like the SNE. I think it was the SNES. And it had like Z movement.
Yeah.
So like
you go like, and it would like shoot you up.
It was terrible though. It was so bad.
It's awful. I spent, I think, like $180 on the PlayStation 1 Dragon Ball Z game called Final Bout. That game is dog shit. And it was dog shit when I paid that much money for it because it was the only Dragon Ball Z game I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
That game is awful. Like a 1. I'd give it a 1.
Yeah. So
it's that bad.
The point is like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure never went away from me, and I'm like, because it's just inside jokes between like me and Haywo and stuff, and like every now and then saying right and just like stuff like that, right?
So you didn't even say it, right? But you read it, so you don't know.
I have no idea.
Those old Flash cartoons where you drop a steamroller on a guy.
Yeah, and then punch it a bunch, like
yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
So that's like that's the part 3 JoJo, and that's the one was the most popular here before the anime boom of like 2000.
Yeah,
the Crunchyroll boom.
Yeah, and so like JoJo just like suddenly I'm like, wait, now everyone's talking about JoJo. I had no idea an anime had come out. No idea.
Oh man. I thought there's one in the one in the 90s is like OVA style too, so the animation's really good.
Yeah. Well, the 90s stuff was great. I had no idea like a new thing came out
like they started from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, they just started a new run. I don't know. It seems recently, but it could have been like 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, 2012 started.
I had no idea. No idea. Just suddenly everyone's talking JoJo again, and I'm like...
It's great. Dude, it's the dumbest. You know how, like, we love, like, dumb AoS stuff?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's just that.
Well, and that's what Slaanesh needed. When Slaanesh was just all cringe and dated jokes, like, about STDs and... Yeah, like, not cool. But now that we have, like, fabulous men and women...
You have...
being
Dio slice.
That's
a little.
Yeah, you got that Dio in there. I'm like, yes. I mean, it's cool. Okay, Noise Marines. They just play metal and like kill people. That's cool.
I love that.
That's cool.
The dubstep cannons.
Yeah. The bow wow 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 wow, like, and they just like they drop the bass on you and you die. That's cool. That's the Slaanesh I want.
They literally drop the bass on you.
Yeah. Yeah,
that crushes your.
That's the Slaanesh I wanted, and like it wasn't in fantasy. You only had like daemonettes and stuff.
Yeah, no.
Now with sexecutioners and like great cod pieces and like 2 boots and
great cod pieces. Whoa, let's not. Hey, there's one cod piece in this house. Okay.
Okay, it is Catacross's cod piece. but at least I'm consistent in.
That's true. You know what? Yeah, can't fault you there.
I'm consistent. So like I've got a roadmap for collecting Slaanesh. I've got there's like a bracket, like a sliding bracket that moves when vampires show up. That's just gonna like jump the line whenever that happens.
It's like, it'll just slot that in.
So it's like, okay, I'll do Slaanesh gradually, and then like vampires come, like that's just gonna jump the line. I've got my 4 teams of Blood Bowl. 2 of them coming theoretically soon. I got the.
And you've got to like even
these ones.
Like, putting stuff together is just like.
I enjoy it.
I think it's really underestimated as part of the hobby. It's like it's so much fun to just build a thing, like just to build the kit, not even paint it, just like putting the stuff together. There's like a degree of meditation in there that I think a lot of people overlook.
The meme lord, was it Matt Austin on Twitter? He shares a lot of great memes. A little bit more 40K aligned, but I forgive him. He shared something about it was this like wall of text type meme thing where I read it and I can't remember it, so I'm just going to paraphrase it. Where it essentially said like we just need to like enjoy taking time with things again.
Yeah.
And it sparked this whole conversation on the internet. And like I kind of had a big moment of introspection for me where I just went like, I'm always building armies to get them to a tournament. And one of the things that like I've struggled with COVID, I'm very passionate. The passion hasn't gone anywhere. I just haven't had anywhere to channel it because I'm like, I can't finish the army. But like reading that, I just like kind of like exhaled, spiritually speaking. Like I had this this moment of weight lift off me, and I just went. I've just been why do I have to put together a whole box of Mortec whatever, or like I've been working on my Death Riders a model at a time. I dropped my hobby streak on Monday. For Molly's birthday, I had to prep for Molly's birthday and stuff like that. But I hit 7 days as a hobby streak, which is kind of my high score, I think. And it was like actually just taking the time to enjoy putting together one model. And like not have any preconceived notions that I need to get it done for something, but actually remembering that putting together models feels good, and it makes me happy. Remembering that why is that it seems like the easiest thing, and that lead got buried the hardest for me. I totally lost sight of it because I always feel like I'm running out of time, and like time is precious, and I don't have enough of it, and just this
I think
anxiety around it all.
it's a very human thing. It's like, you spend all this time working and taking care of your basic stuff. So it's like any hobby time you can slice off of that. It's like so precious. So you have to make the most of it, which means you have to do a lot of stuff. And you could just, you could just do one model and still you'll get more out of it, not rushing it.
Hmm.
Like we not to say like we pay money to get relaxation, but I think like get the most out of it. Squeeze every little juice. I've always said this is like if you're gonna do something as a hobby, you need to like do every part of it as like do it. Get the most you can out of it. Stop trying to rush through it. And I think also AoS, especially, it's like, oh man, I gotta get this painted for the match, or I gotta get this done for the tournament. It's like there's always that clock like kicking in your ear, and right now there is no rush. You don't have to get it done.
I went the opposite direction of being like, well, I don't have to get it done. Then how do I motivate? And so like I'm completely missing the point. I was completely, and then I'm like, wait a minute, if I just put this together because I like it, and then I feel good at that I put the thing together. What?
Yeah.
Like my eyes widen, and I'm just like, what's going on?
Watch the physical manifestation of progress happening right before your eyes.
Yeah, yeah,
One that you can control, nonetheless.
yeah.
It's great. I got this big box of metal. I'm so excited to like take my time like drilling holes in it and putting it together.
I guess
Heavy.
if I had like I wanted to have a sort of hidden message of passion and hobby, a life moment, a teaching moment here, and I think this is it. I think the thing that I've learned is to slow down some. Uh,
Yeah, just a little bit.
it's hard. Like I've started recording little kind of crappy 10-minute videos, 10 to 15-minute videos now to release those, and like I learned one editing technique today, and that video will be going up on
You
YouTube.
talking about those truck videos?
Yeah, the truck videos.
Those man in truck. Man reads in truck. No,
Yeah,
man
yeah, it's
dictates in truck.
yeah, man orates in truck, or man opines in truck. Yeah, so I've been recording.
Pines.
Yeah, I've been opining in my truck about like stuff, and I just recorded one today about cyberpunk, and not what you think I would talk about. I maybe it is. I don't know. Like like a very philosophical take on what punk is, and like I learned an editing technique, and then I'm like okay, and then I asked Haywo for some advice, and he gave me some great advice with it, and he's like, and here's how like I would do this, and like I'm like, yeah, I could do that, and old Meph would have. And I'm like, but you know what new Meph is gonna do? He's gonna release the video as is because I learned one trick, and I'm proud that I learned one trick, and the next video will be better because I'll apply some of the stuff he taught me now to the next one. Like I don't
That's life.
need to get it perfect and get the whole army together at once. Video
No, you don't.
speaking. I don't need to get the whole thing together at once. I don't need to edit the whole thing. I don't need it to all be perfect at once. I learned the one technique. I'll release the video. A couple people will get a chuckle. They'll see what I did as a joke, and some
Yeah.
some people won't even watch it, and that's fine. But I did something that was cathartic because I talked about the thing that was bugging me all day. Then I edited it with a technique that I just learned, and now I released the thing, and I'm like, and I'm trying to see the world in a way that my anxiety, that pressure, that the clock ticking in my ear, as you kind of put it, which is a nice way of saying it, where that doesn't interfere with taking time to enjoy stuff by slowing down some and just being happy with this little bits of progress, right?
Yeah, man, and that's just all life is like, you learn from something, you apply it to the next thing, and then you realize something, and then you try to be more cognizant of it. And it's just like kind of a cycle of like, and then, you fall into a routine, and it gets shaken up, and then, the whole year shuts everything down, and you get to recollect and think about what you want out of life, and you just find that, hey, I like the smell of this glue, and this paint is cool, I guess. I really like this paint, this one. I really like this one. This one's great. I'm gonna use this paint.
You're huffing paint. Good to know that
No, no,
you've used this time to to discover which paints you like to huff.
this stuff. smells
Surface
so good to me.
Surface
This is the
Primer.
Vallejo Surface Primer. It's got some kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit sweet. It reminds me of something, and I can't put my finger on it. I love the way that smells. It's non-toxic, so don't worry. Now, you don't want to be breathing this. Don't breathe in the Tamiya Extra Thin. That'll fuck you up. Huffing glue chips. Here on Rantcast. How we doing?
Kids, don't try that at home.
Don't try that at home.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. Rocco says that explains a lot. Grim Slacker, how's it going, my friend? Showing up there. Yeah. So
don't breathe the zip kicker either, folks. It's not.
you just have this spread of like harmful chemicals.
They're very close to each other, and I mean, hey, look, while we're here, folks, don't forget to wear your dust mask. Any sanding, any heavy fumes, you get this going. Eye safety, very important.
I'm probably gonna like after Rantcast, I'm gonna build a single model to try to start my hobby streak back up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna build a single model. I think I'm gonna crack into that box of Blood Bowl. I might build one of the star players, the troll or something like that.
The troll's funny, dude. Have you seen that troll?
I
really looked at it.
I haven't spent any long time, but I'm looking at the picture, and he's currently about to throw a goblin that is holding the football.
I've never seen the goblin. I've seen that model tons of time. I've never noticed he's actually holding a goblin holding the ball. I've never, until I built that model, had no idea that he was holding a goblin.
Oh, dude,
he's got a pitcher stance too.
Oh, the goblin's ready to go. The goblin's ready to go. Like he's got the one hand, like he's ready to go. And you've got this ogre, and he is the Fist of the North Star. This Imperial Nobility ogre. He's got like the one punch fist.
Oh yeah, it's the same ogre as they had released with the human team last time. They just painted him in a different color scheme, but yeah, no, he's great. He's huge.
Ooh,
he's the bigs.
Ooh, it's a lady.
Yeah, there's a couple lady players. That's nice.
Good. Let's get more representation in our games, please. No, this is cool. I love this.
No, she's got sick braids too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
I like that the goblin's wearing a little beak mask. There's some really good stuff going on here.
There's one that's holding a scorpion too. It's sick. There's so much character in those models. I love them. I adore them.
Chris showing up. What a time to tune in.
Yeah, sniffing glue. How we doing?
What meth hobby? No way. Hey, I hit a hobby streak of 7. I was super proud of myself.
7's a good number.
So 1 week. They say it's a month to form a new habit, right? I don't think there's any necessarily scientific truth to that, but good rule of thumb. So if I figure. It came late in the year, but at least it came. I know my seasonal depression's looming around the corner, like a boogeyman, checking behind doors for it and shit. But at least I caught that moment where the weight lifted off of me, and I caught that deep breath, and I had the realignment of my perspective. I had a year ago, and would have been around June or July, which kind of ended up leading into making Rantcast initially. I caught it now going into winter, which is when I need it, because if I went in at the low point into seasonal depression and stuff, that was going to be a nightmare. So
yeah,
I've built more OBR than me. I don't know that you have. I think.
How much OBR have you built? Because I did 2,500 points in 30 days.
I've got 3K of OBR built and another K to go. I don't know.
I'm looking at it on my shelf right there, mister.
Yeah, I've got 60 more tech guard together. 5 ponies, now 10 ponies. I just got my Xanthos. Both my Gothazar harvesters. Both my Mortec crawlers. Well, I've got one more Mortec crawler to put together, so I have one Mortec crawler put together. All I have left on my pile of shame for OBR.
Oh, now see, look at he's moving the goalpost now. Oh, I built more than you. Over what time frame?
Oh, you mean in the last month? Oh yeah, 100%. I've built 3 murder ponies, 2 Gothazar harvesters, and Xanthos.
Well, that's 1,000 points right there.
Yeah, it's because everything costs 200.
Fucking fucking wild.
Because
you built like 6 models.
it's like 1,000 points. Yeah. Yeah. Xanthos is 200. Yeah.
Fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's an expensive army point wise. Xanthos is an amazing looking model too, by the way.
Dude, he's so sick. The pose is so like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I am commanding the battlefield.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's very guy on Griff Charger. Is it Knight Incantor on Griff Charger? It's a
Lord Arcanum.
I actually mirrored the images and put them up next to each other on one of my Twitter posts.
Yeah, it's Lord Arcanum.
Lord Arcanum, yeah.
I have one of those painted.
No, hang on. I got a treat for y'all while we're doing this.
Yeah. Ooh, is it leggings? Oh, it's not leggings. I was hoping he had the leggings on. We'd get a nice little look there. Oh, wait a minute.
So, if we don't count the fact that my Beasts of Chaos were running as Depraved Drove for a little bit there.
Oh, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is, the first down the path of dark excess.
The first of many.
Yeah, here it is.
What better way to start with someone who can keep your secrets?
Hey, look, when you got to build a foundation for the vacation home, you got to start strong, right? So I've got my cabin up north, which is the Beach of Chaos. We got to get that beach house together, everybody. The Slanesh Pleasure Palace down on the Florida beaches. So I'm gonna have 2 vacation homes. It turns out I can't compromise the Beasts of Chaos.
It's a timeshare.
I'll co-op a couple of them to like do some conversions and stuff. But Beasts of Chaos run as Beasts of Chaos is what makes them metal, because they're super anarchistic. They fuck your god. Like they're like they don't actively pray to like the chaos gods. They want to burn it down, and that's what's kind of cool about them. So yeah, the dirty condo in Vegas, whatever it is. Beasts of Chaos, super metal as is, but once they start to actively like worship a chaos god, it's not quite as cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally gonna own some of those freaking Slangors, baby. Unite the clans together at last.
I was gonna be a Bulgor so hard. I saw that face and I was like, dude, that's a Bulgor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, Beasts of Chaos. Oh, so
Damage
cool.
Damage 2.
Look at that. I mean, the question
Look at
is...
the top of the box. Look at the opulence.
Yeah.
Keeper of secrets.
Yeah, so there it is. That's it. We are officially in for Mortal Slanesh with this.
We have arrived.
Yeah, so... I'm...
Korgor, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Pestigor, cool. Zangor, I like Enlightened well enough, honestly. They're all right.
The disc is cool.
They're not bad. Their feet, I don't like their feet so much.
That's the bird thing.
But no, so this is I'll probably build the Shalaxi version.
Of little bird thing, I've got my little
bird friend.
Oh, look how, I love him so.
So we'll get that together. That's the first step, preparing for Sigvald's arrival.
Paving the way, getting it loosened up,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So there it is, the my fall 2 excess. Don't worry. Death is still best. Still rocking my OBR hoodie.
Number 1.
But I'm a proponent of vacation homes.
Look, Chaos is a wide and sprawling army.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of ins and a lot of outs.
But this goes into that taking the time thing. I'm not in a hurry to get that done. I'm not I will. There's going to be a day where building this, just putting this together, this Keeper Secrets, is going to be what I need that day. Just sit down and put it together.
Break in case of emergency.
Pretty much. And
giant androgynous space goat.
Oh, I love. I mean, that's the thing, is like the otherworldly beauty. The like that's way cooler than like just a bunch of dated sort of transphobic jokes. No, thank you.
Titfish.
Yeah.
Fish with
all right.
Titty fish.
Get my daughter to pick my Slanesh color scheme. If I can there's a Tam the Third on the internets has a really great looking purple like armor scheme. I'm gonna see if I can't borrow that recipe. Otherwise, full My Little Pony paint scheme for Slaanesh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like all in. I might steal your metal technique for Sigvald himself.
I'll walk you through it. It's a piece of cake.
So I'll take your metal technique for Sigvald himself, because he's got to be rocking the gold. He's got like he might have I might go more chestnut with the hair because in my hair tone.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, you put your little bit of yourself.
Yeah,
in there?
so
I like
so a little bit more chestnut with the hair, but
what
also
is more? Oh God, what is more Sigvald than making Sigvald look like you?
I know there's a bunch of mirror themes and stuff.
That's the sauce.
Yeah.
Rocco, get out of here, stealing souls. All souls go to Nagash. Thank you.
It's true.
All bones. The blood goes to corn. You don't care.
Yeah. No,
The other juices can go where they may flow.
No.
Come on. Bile is what are they called, the five somethings? It's like bile and
bile blood. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. TOS.
Yeah, TOS takedown notification incoming. All right. Then I'm technically. I like where you're thinking. I like where your head's at, Kernigate. Oh, Kanehurst. Oh, that would be a sweet. Oh, dude, that's my paint scheme for my Slaanesh.
Dude.
Bloodborne Kanehurst. Oh, Sigil.
When you get the letter to go to Castle Kanehurst, I just about did a backflip.
Oh my!
Sick.
Oh, that's so. Yeah. I gotta fan myself. That's fucking tasty. Kanehurst. I wrote it down. I double underlined it.
Circle it. Highlight it.
Kanehurst paint scheme.
36-point font.
Boom.
I didn't need it.
So
Jill gets a cookie.
Yeah. So Jill, I'm gonna give you RDP. You get relentless discipline points. So yeah. So back on Blood Bowl. Like I said, wrapping up a little tiny life message in there, slowing down and enjoying the hobby. And Blood Bowl is one of those perfect games for that. It's 16 models. You can work on a little tiny ref on the side. You can put your cheerleaders together.
And no pressure. Just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying earlier, it's like a Blood Bowl team is so nothing. You're not committed to anything. You're committed to 16. So like, who cares if they look a little bit different? There's only 16, and even then, like you're probably only gonna be playing with like 13 of them at most. Mm-hmm. Unless you have like a ton of reservers.
Or if my seasons of Blood Bowl have been anything, it's 11. I'm just right at the 11 the whole time.
Yeah, journeyman. I mean, shit, if you have an extra model, paint one up as a journeyman. That way it's like, oh, that's the journeyman.
Yeah, that's the loner. Is loner still on the journeyman? Is that still all that's...
Yeah, and something else that's interesting and worth noting. So like sometimes, you'd see like loner was always on a 4+. Now there are certain characters that have loner 3+ or loner 5+.
Okay.
They've changed. They've kind of made it a little more
delineated it a little bit.
If you take a troll on an orc team, it's a 4+. But if you take a troll on a goblin team, it's a trained troll, so it's a 3+.
I like that.
Yeah. Same thing. Like Mighty Blow and Dirty Player, there are some stars that have Mighty Blow 2.
So it adds 2 to the roll instead of 1.
Fuck yeah. Sick.
Scarin Rogers, it's a house rule. Scarin Rogers has Mighty Blow 2. It's a house rule. He's that good.
Yeah, but yeah, take your time. Blood Bowl team's no big investment. It's fairly cheap. It's like I always like to paint the Underworld's warbands when I need like a refresher because it's like $30. It's 3 or 4, 5, 6 models, and like you just have fun with it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to adhere to these. Like all my corn stuff, like I love it, but it all looks like it's my corn stuff. And sometimes you just want to paint something different.
Yeah.
Or like even just to build something different.
Yeah.
Coming from 40K especially, it's like it's so nice to have organic shapes instead of like all this like box out edge highlight like metal plates and stuff. Acorn has Mighty Blow 8. No. I wish. Acorn's sick, dude. Let's talk about Acorn.
Yeah,
for
let's
half
talk
a
about
second
we'll
here.
talk about Acorn real quick. So Acorn is of course one of the star players.
Newly introduced in a White Dwarf. He is 80k to induce. And I will read the exact stats. Movement 7, fast as fuck. Strength 1. Ooh. Agility 2+. Armor value 6. Ooh. But he's got claws. He's got dodge. He's got frenzy. He's got jump up. He's got dauntless, sidestep, stunty, titchy, and he can reroll the dauntless roll. He's a beast. Acorn is of course a little squirrel. He's a little baby squirrel.
So I got the tree man mini stomp, just threw it in with the stuff I ordered.
Yeah.
And is that squirrel on there? So is that supposed to be Acorn?
You are highly encouraged to use that squirrel as Acorn. Some third-party companies have also made their own Acorns. I've seen some 3D printed ones, and Grivo, the team that I bought my Chaos Pack from, they just made like a rabid, like Wolverine, not a Wolverine, but just like foaming at the mouth, like angry squirrel. Looks great.
It's interesting because it's a tiny squirrel. So is the basing material the treant then, and you're playing Acorn like the squirrel, and like you're basing it
like
on?
I mean, you can run it either way.
Amazing.
Me personally, I would take the biggest base that I could find and put the little baby squirrel on it, and just cover it with like blood and stuff.
Viscera.
It's
like the rabbit.
Simple. Who cares?
It's like the rabbit from Monty Python.
Yeah, exactly that. And his name is Acorn. Like, come on, that's
like a worshiper of corn, a Larial base. Yeah, the pie plate.
Yes.
It won't even fit on the grid.
Yeah, it'll take up the whole board. That's hilarious.
Acorn goes where Acorn pleases.
And he plays for any team. So if you have 80k to induce, like, go for it. He's got claws. He's got frenzy. I'm doing this in a narrative game now. Yes.
Amazing.
We'll do Anvil of Apotheosis for Acorn.
It's like a mighty Lord of Corn or something.
Yeah. It's a smash fucker on Juggernaut. Sure.
Nice. All right, man. Any last things you want to mention about Blood Bowl? Video games. We touched on video games a little bit.
Yeah.
Animu. Anything you want to talk about?
I think it's important to take the time, not just to do your hobby, but enjoy the time you spend doing it. And with all things in life, you find little things to make even things that are unbearable a little more manageable. Like doing the dishes. Find something to like about doing the dishes, and then you'll never dread doing it. Take that time.
Music.
Blood of Zeus. Music.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. Turn up.
Rantcast on all your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, on all your favorite podcast platforms. Listen to Rantcast on that while you do the dishes, and it'll be much more enjoyable. Yeah, and while you're at it, remember to like and subscribe.
Click that bell icon to get pictures of Mephisto wearing leggings, posing seductively over a chair.
It was a mirror and a staircase. Thank you.
Excuse me, I was a little distracted, if I'm honest. We need to get that Men of AoS calendar going.
Is it better or worse if I was sober when I did it?
I mean, different flavors. Sure.
Enjoy the little things, my friends. No, 100%. Yeah. Like I call them quiet moments. You get like a cup of coffee. I have like I have to get a cup of coffee at work when work's slamming me. I got to go get my favorite gas station cup of coffee. I know that one's been a little mitigated lately on account of what's going on, so I come home and fill up my thermos, and I go park on Lake Michigan. There's it's called Brofton Drive. It goes right past Lake Michigan. I park right there, and I sit there. And I just drink my coffee and I do nothing else. And just for that, there's an Onion article that I absolutely adore, and it's something like burrito to solve area man's issues for 6 precious minutes or something like that. And if you read the article, it's just about how like local guy lives place is named whatever, goes to the Qdoba and just gets a burrito and gets the guacamole today because that's how bad he feels bad enough that he can spring for the guacamole, and then he just sits there and for 6 precious minutes like he ignores a call from his mom, and like just for 6 precious minutes he's gonna eat this burrito. And the world will melt away while he enjoys the like succulent toppings, like
That's beautiful.
like and just for 6 precious minutes of eating this burrito, and you gotta find. I call it mental health burrito. You gotta find yourself a mental health burrito. It doesn't need to be a burrito. Anything, just for 6 minutes, any day, just find 6 quiet minutes for yourself anywhere. 6 minutes is pretty easy. It doesn't have to be something daunting. It can be like me with sitting with a cup of coffee, just parked there enjoying the lakefront. If you got a porch, man, just a cup of coffee on my front porch works about the same. Just sit there. Like if you got to change your surroundings a little bit for those 6 precious minutes to mean something, find a nice place to change your surroundings to. If it is just driving and blasting your favorite song as loud as possible, and screaming at the top of your lungs while you sing it while all the people look inside your windows thinking you're a weirdo. Like, whatever it is. If it is doing the dishes and listening to Rantcast. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Find
those
6
moments of peace.
Get those quiet moments in there. That get you a mental health burrito.
Yeah. Man.
Is that why I like the throw burrito game? That is indeed why I like the throw burrito game. Yeah. No, I mean if it's a park, like there's some awesome woods. If it's feeding raccoons or watching videos
Hot dogs.
of a Canadian feeding raccoons some hot dogs.
If it's just watching a guy throw a bunch of spoiled meat onto a military train saying nice.
Nice.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
Let's get this out onto your train.
Oh, look at these crackers.
Nice.
Not nice.
Oh, they smell awful. Eats one. Oh, I should have done that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
love that guy, man. So
good. Frank, man, thank you so much for being on with me tonight, rocking this episode.
Yeah, man.
I hope we talked.
Spreading the good word.
Yeah, I hope we talked about Blood Bowl in an enjoyable manner with enough peripheral conversation for people who aren't necessarily into Blood Bowl. They just wanted to have some noise to do the dish. Yeah. Just to
New Edition's good.
Yeah.
Like people are doomsaying, "Oh, it's gonna be awful." I've played 2 games and it's like the exact same. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, and
you'll have a lot of fun.
Like we said earlier, you can hook up with us on Discord. Whatever it is, at me on Twitter. I can get you in our Discord. Incantabot spams the Discord link every now and then. Join us. We can set up some friendlies with Blood Bowl.
Chris, yes, the video of a man gobbling at a field of turkeys and they gobble back. It's hilarious every single time.
Yeah. So, Incantabot's asleep right now. All right. So you can join us in Discord or something like that. Frank, you've been playing. I'm going to take you up. I'm going to play a TTS game with you here. I think in this next week.
I'll walk you through it. Piece of cake.
Right on. I want to be able to get this together so that my son and I can play.
Yeah. Yo, man, enjoy opening that box. I know we made fun of unboxing earlier, but like that box it's just nice to pull everything out and go, ooh, the smell of a fresh book.
Oh,
ooh,
Games Workshop battle tomes and codexes have the same smell they had in 1995. I swear.
I know.
It hasn't changed. I the first thing I noticed when I got, I think it was my LON battle tome, is like I cracked it and just like that smell. It's like comic books. Still, like comic books always have that certain smell. Like that kind of
smell.
That smell. That could be your 6 minutes. Huffing glue.
Malaya surface primer, and it's gotta be the black one. The white one doesn't smell the same.
I'll stream the TTS game when we do it if Frank's
willing. Folks listening at Rantcast, please do
not. I love that he cut out for that. You don't know that he was telling you not to huff glue.
You cut my audio in post. Huff glue.
He's telling you not to huff glue. Don't huff glue. Don't at me with the TOS. Chat gang. Man, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Frank. Once more, thank you for being on. This was a blast.
Of course.
It was just a good.
Y'all be good. I love chat gang. I love y'all. You're great. Let's hang out. Hang out in Discord. Our Discord is growing. It's growing.
It is, and we haven't had the only Discord drama so far has just been me when I get angry and I just start like slurring or something like that about.
Yeah, and people thinking pineapple belongs in pieces. Fucking disgusting.
Or like the one time Rocco was trying to trigger me. We don't. Yeah, so we try to keep it chill. I know that there's a ironic way of saying safe space, but I really am trying to make a safe space for people to have their opinions on stuff and not be judged and just like. Shit. I know Vanilla Sauce was like just had to blow steam about like an army one day, like an army he was mad about. I'm like, dude, get it out. We're not judging you. We know, and trying to keep that organic, slow-growing community that support and respect each other.
Yeah,
so
that's something I really love. It's like nobody just waltzes in and then is like an asshole. Everybody's cool.
Yeah, I won't tolerate that. This isn't a free speech thing. This is a community thing. You're not.
I won't either. But everybody's been cool.
So we haven't had to bring the hammer down at all. I got a little bit of paranoid about it, about a couple weeks ago when I saw like all these channels I liked talking about the drama they've had in their Discord, and then there's just this I had to take down my Discord, and I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know that was a reality for people's Discords.
Meanwhile, we're over here posting pictures of it's all this stupid shit.
Yeah, raccoons getting fed freaking hot dogs.
I'm linking that right now. I'm rolling my sleigh. Hold on, I'm gonna pull that up. I'll put it in the Discord so everybody can see.
Yeah, appreciate you, groups. It turns out when you don't try to court the lowest common denominator of human being, you have a pretty chill, awesome vibe of humans. So, Heavy D6 dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everyone that chat gang ain't nothing to mess with. Grenigate reminding everyone that oxygen deprivation only takes 7 minutes. So 6 minutes, you're good.
7 minutes in heaven, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. All the love, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Chat gang, you know it. You're the show within the show. You're the reason we do this thing. And Frank, what are they going to do?
Drink the milk, pay the taxes.
That's right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.